Hello and welcome to the Easy Allies podcast at the end of August, the dog days of August. My birthday month.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just a good month overall. Kids are back in school. Places are less crowded. Get them back in school. Go to school.
I don't know about that. Feels like places are definitely more crowded right now.
You know, you're not wrong, Damiani. I am Michael Huber. We are Easy Allies, and this is the Easy Allies podcast. We today are joined by Daniel Bloodworth.
Hello.
Special ultimate Omega guest, Austin Wintory.
The final guest.
Yes.
It's not true. I have somebody booked for a couple weeks from now.
Well, then that was a lie. We're off to an excellent start.
How are you doing today?
Great. Very happy to be here.
Good. Oh, we're so
very fun.
excited.
Every one of us is like in the rush mode of like somehow we have to get into a conversation after like just one thing after another to get here.
Yes.
It is true. It is true. It's the LA style.
It is.
Because, you know, all those kids are back in school apparently, just clogging up the roads.
Yeah, get him back in school.
Yeah.
We got Damiani. Shinobi, dude, cannot.
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't hear him at all.
I know, I've been waiting so long to hear Damiani's thoughts about the goatee that is Shinobi. And making it all happen in the control room, we got Isla Hink.
Hey.
We got Don Casanova lurking
over
somewhere.
There he is.
Nice. And back there, Gabby Montu. All right, everybody. We got a show today. Austin is here to talk about composing the music for the newly released Sword of the Sea, which we've talked about a little bit, but not with Austin. So I can't wait for that.
I'm here for it.
Yes. Blood has been playing Herdling.
Yeah. Just finished.
Nice.
Moments ago.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, hot off the presses. Myself and Don, and of course Damiani, have been playing Shinobi. Cannot wait to hear Damiani's thoughts, because Don and I, we played it at Summer Game Fest. We were raving about it, and Damiani was just like, I'm waiting, I'm itching for it. I've been playing a little Rogue Prince of Persia now that it is 1.0 release. We have the RetroSpace Preview from Gamescom, now that we have footage, and the July sales report. So, let's get into it with Austin. What's going on?
Hit me.
Yeah.
Well, we're one week out from the game officially coming out. I guess you had a chance to play it prior to that.
Yeah.
So hopefully that build was a good build.
Yeah, I didn't have any issues really that I can recall. So.
I mean, I just know that we find, at least I constantly find like little things, like I'll watch, or I remember on the I probably shouldn't even be saying this kind of stuff out loud, but like I remember on the first day, there were people who were streaming it, and I was bouncing back and forth among all these Twitch channels to like check certain parts of the game, and I'd literally sit there and go, and then I promptly message the team and go, there's a little fraction of a second crossfade between this queue and this queue. I think could we adjust this? And it was like getting my little patch notes in there. There's stuff that I know that nobody would probably notice or care, but they drive me crazy because you spend years trying to make them right, and then you hear those little tiny things and you're like, oh, that's weird. That triggered, that's supposed to come like when you go through the door, but it hit right before they went through the door. And it's like little stupid things.
Yeah.
That's why I go, what build were you on? You might have had the door timing wrong on something, God forbid.
Are you ever fully satisfied and happy with your past work, or do you always critique it? There's always room for improvement. Are you ever like, yep, that's amazing, 10 out of 10?
Well, no. The best case scenario would be more like, it's like a parent when their kid turns 18 and they're like, it's now just time for you to leave the house, regardless of my feelings.
Right.
So that's usually about the best I can hope for. I wouldn't say I'm ever really, I'm never overjoyed, but I rarely am sort of, I won't let it reach a point of sort of hating it. You can't let it out the door if you're not, at least on some level, feeling like, okay, this works, this is okay, but everything of mine, invariably, if I come across it again years later, there's little things where I'm like, why did that? I'm surprised I thought that was a good idea. But that's part of that. That's just you change over time. That's the problem. You know? It's like the things that excite you are different, you know, and so yeah, I don't know. It's best to not look back at previous work in general, I suspect, as a result, because you'll just kind of go drive yourself nuts.
Yeah. Once it's out, you just look forward. On to the next. That's
the hope. I mean, it's interesting because at the same time, paradoxically, if you're lucky, people will like it, and so they kind of force it in front of you over and over. And I say that gratefully. Like Journey, I get asked, we do concerts of it all the time, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm sort of have like this ongoing relationship with it, even though it increasingly looks like something by a totally different person. You know, like I really, because I started it, like I'm 41 years old. I'm 2 weeks away from, I'm 40, 2 weeks from 41, and I started Journey when I was 24.
Wow.
So it's like several different me's ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's like, it's one of those strange phenomenon. I'm happy to move forward, but I am also happy that something people actually care enough about that I can't escape it. You know what I mean? Like that's not a thing to complain about. I'm grateful to have something that people actually seem to like.
Yeah.
You know, despite it being quite old by this point, by our industry standards, you know.
Well, I mean, I remember, you know, even when we were talking, when I first brought you in for Banner Saga, you know, and you were talking even then, it's like, it just seems like, yep, this is going to be the thing that follows you around. And here we are, like, what, 10, 12 years later, and that seems to be the case?
That would have been 2014, 11 years ago that we did that. I'll never forget, you know what else was in the studio that day when I came in? Was this woman who had made a game where you put like a sensor on your chest and it's measuring like your heart rate and your skin, and it's a horror game where you can only sort of defeat the monsters or whatever by actually getting your heart rate under control and stuff. I just remember there was like someone passing in the hallway in the game trailers or whatever, like in that, and they were like,
that was
hey,
Aaron Reynolds. Yeah.
What was it?
Aaron Reynolds. The game.
What was it called?
Nevermind.
Okay, that sounds right. Yeah.
She's with Flying Mollusk, I think.
I just remember thinking that was one of the coolest ideas that I mean, it's like possibly a form of psychological torture because it's like if you can't get your shit under control, then you're like going to just spiral into this death. But I was like, that's such a great outside the box idea. I'll never forget, that was just like a thing I saw that day when meeting you for the first time.
Yeah.
But yeah, long time ago.
I think I'm always so intrigued by the order of operations of music to gameplay.
Right.
And it's like when you're composing, how much of the game do you see beforehand versus how much do you create ahead of time without even seeing any of the gameplay at all?
It's it depends entirely on the team. You know, some projects bring me in after they've got their feet pretty thoroughly planted. You know, like Assassin's Creed Syndicate, they had already been on it for 2 years, I think. Or like I do Lego Fortnite with Epic, and by the time I joined, they were years into development on that one also. And but in the case of Giant Squid, you know, like I've done all 3 of their games: Abzu, Pathless, Sword of the Sea. You know, basically Matt Nava, the founder of the studio and the director of those games, and he was the art director on Journey. So we kind of had a parallel of this in those days too, where it's basically from day one. He'll show me a concept art. Sometimes it's literally just a conversation.
Wow.
You know, but usually, I mean, Matt's always creating art. So by the time we're finishing one game, he'll probably already have been daydreaming about what the next one is, and so he'll show me, you know, here's some stuff, and it might be literally just 1 or 2 images, and he'll say, you know, there's a lot about this is still hazy to me, but I think it's probably going to be this or that or whatever, and I'll just start trying things. I'll sketch ideas, create little mock-ups with my computer of, you know, okay, I'm kind of picturing something like this, something like that, and send it to him, and then it just kind of begins this snowballing where I'm always kind of running parallel. So, you know, there won't be any game yet, but there will be some idea, and I react to that. But then it becomes a two-way street where they'll go, oh, you know, that music's actually kind of sad, and I sort of like that. Makes me wonder how the game could kind of have a wistful tone to it or something. I mean, we become this, you know, sounding boards off each other. I mean, ultimately, you know, it's not 50-50. It's his vision. I'm chasing it, but they really invite me in to, be part of it and actually influence pacing. And, there'll be times where it can get quite technical where, I'll say, I really want the music to be able to do X, Y, Z in that specific order and with very specific timings. And so we'll work together to choreograph it where, we'll sort of very subtly take control away from the player for a fraction of a second so that we can kind of force this alignment to happen between where the player doesn't even know in that moment that they lost control, so that we can kind of create this dance, around them. And there's a lot of that sort of stuff that happens, especially on a game like Sword of the Sea.
That is so awesome.
It's good time. So yeah, it's one of those whereas the traditional movie thing, you have pre-production, production, post-production, music almost entirely falls in post-production, right? Games obviously don't really divide up that neatly, and there's no reason why we can't really be involved in at least trying stuff the whole way through, which I love.
Wow.
One of the things that I had felt when I played Sword of the Sea is that it does feel sort of like it mixes all of the past 3 games in a way,
Sure,
obviously like when you see the sand, you think Journey.
Yeah.
But then you've got the ocean, so you think Abzu, but then the movement feels like the Pathless.
Totally.
Totally.
So it's like, it really I'm curious, when you guys were putting all this together, like whether that kind of struck you and the team the same way.
Oh yeah, no, and there's interviews Matt's done. We actually just recorded a podcast together, yesterday, I think, that'll come out sometime, where he talked about how, obviously he was the art director of Flower and of Journey before starting Giant Squid. And so you have basically now 5 data points of titles to really kind of see who he is as an artist. And he also talked about how, he evolves a lot. He learns about himself through all of this. But there's a real through line there. I like to compare him, and I mean this as complimentarily as it sounds, I think of him a lot like Hayao Miyazaki, where I go, there's a real continuity amongst all of Miyazaki's films. They're never the same, and they're never derivative of one another, but he's an artist. He has the inspirations that speak to him. He also has his natural inclinations of things that are just going to come out, whether that's story-wise, script-wise, images, that sort of thing. So Matt's no different. In the case of this one, he specifically talked about how he avoided this color palette, specifically the orange that we're seeing right now. He avoided that rather aggressively, after Abzu. Abzu and Pathless both have none of this color palette because it felt like Journey had cast this big shadow that it took him like 10 years to feel like he could use that color scheme again and sort of this environment again. Desert is a very evocative environment, and especially when you have this kind of oceanic thing going on. The juxtaposition of those is very interesting. Mm-hmm. So he just had to, the way he phrased it, it was almost like he just thought, you know what, I'm kind of ready to do this again. And if someone ties it to Journey and they like that, then great. And if they don't like that, then, oh well. It's kind of like, this is a very nerdy classical music comparison to make, but when the composer Brahms in the late 19th or the mid 19th century decided to try writing a symphony in the wake of Beethoven's death. Beethoven's Ninth Symphony was considered, this is the be-all, end-all. We've basically...
Culmination.
We've solved the symphony as a problem. Like, it will never be improved upon. And Brahms spent 20 years writing his first symphony out of intimidation to the legacy of Beethoven. And when he finally finished it, the funny thing was that the critics and the detractor, like the people that liked it and the people that didn't like it, the celebratory critics and the detractors both said it's effectively Beethoven's 10th. It was like, it's either, what have you done for me lately, or you are the heir apparent. You know what I mean? And I feel like Matt, in a way, it's a similar thing. The people that don't like it and who do like it both say it's because it reminds them of Journey, which is funny. In my mind, they're so different, especially the lack of multiplayer completely puts it in a different universe from Journey straight out of the gate, because that's such an important part of what makes Journey feel the way it does.
For sure.
But yeah, no, he reached a level of I don't know, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it's almost like inner peace of going, you can come to whatever conclusion you want. I'm going to do what the story seems to ask for.
Do you ever struggle to make music based on your feelings of like your previous work? So like, did Journey ever get in the way of you composing Sword of the Sea, for example?
No, I wouldn't say it got in. I mean, it's funny how, the cellist Tina Guo, who is the core of Journey's sound. It's so built around her cello solo performances, and I kind of semi-consciously did not write cello solos on Abzu and Pathless for kind of a similar reason that Matt didn't use Orange, because it felt that instrument is so omnipresent. It would feel like, either you go, are you referencing Journey? Is this supposed to be like a shared universe? Or you would go, do you just have that few instruments in your arsenal that you can imagine or something? So I just thought, well, no, but also the truth of the matter is those games are so different from Journey that I didn't even really feel tempted to use it. Yeah. In the case of this one, I did bring her back, and I was kind of in parallel to Matt, where I said, she's not the star of the show in this particular one the way that she was in Journey. It's more subtle, kind of peppered throughout. But I thought, it's kind of nice. It kind of feels like a family reunion of a sort, which I'm happy with. But no, I mean, look, at the end of the day, like you were saying, the game has a lot of DNA. It's like 25% Journey, 25% Abzu, 25% Pathless, and 25% something new.
Yeah.
And exactly what I was saying when we did our previous video.
Yeah, and I like that challenge, and the something new part really exerts a lot of influence on approaching the score, because there's, these movement mechanics, that sense of momentum. There's even Pathless is very different. The open world changes your sense of movement so much. This game's not really open world. It has a few big sandboxes, but it's pretty linear in the way that Abzu and Journey both were. And so that really changes, at least my perception of how the music should operate. So I don't know if any of that sounds like anything specific, or if it just sounds like I'm saying words that don't actually have any meaning behind them.
Sure.
Well, no, it's interesting that you brought up Tina, because I didn't even, I didn't catch that she was in there. Because like you said, you have so many other instrumentation, but I did pick up on Maluka, and so it's like as soon as those credits rolled, I was looking for her name.
She's very that was actually really fun. Kind of late. That was actually one of the last things that I added. I carved a sort of Maluka shaped hole in the score a little while ago, I don't know, maybe a year ago or less than a year, but I didn't actually record her vocals until literally probably a few weeks ago, because or I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, I can't remember now, but recently it was one of the very last things that I did, because what she's singing is in our made up language, in universe language, and she's singing this text that are derived from the little stelae, like you see one right there, that glowing that have text. It's the in-world translation of those, and because those are text-based, we were, the writer Steve Lerner was iterating on them until the last minute, because it's the easiest. It doesn't really bug out the game to change it. It's just text, and they were constantly, sussing with it and modifying it. And so but I remember pitching to them, when they said, okay, well, we're not going to have voice actors, that whenever that decision was made, and they wanted the story to be, kind of somewhere in between the different games. Like Abzu, Journey is maximally abstract. Abzu, a little less, but still pretty much the same. Pathless has voice acting, and the characters have a name, and there's pretty definitive lore.
We both have to admit that we didn't finish Pathless.
No, that's the only one I
remember. I remember seeing that in when I watched that episode, or your recent one where you mentioned that. Yeah, no, I think Jones. It's pretty big of me to come in spite of knowing that information. I love that game. It's funny how it was one of those that it's been fascinating to see in the rollout of this, how many comments on YouTube and stuff from people that go, oh man, I saw this trailer 2 years ago and I loved Abzu, and I never somehow even heard of the Pathless. And I thought, I don't really understand the dark arts of marketing, but it's fascinating to me that somehow seems to have escaped a lot of people's radar. I mean, it was an enormous amount of work. I mean, the scope of the music of it is at least double this one. I mean, it's a huge amount of music and very complex stuff.
I'm gonna go back to it for sure.
Look, you do you. We all have the problem of way too many games.
Unlimited
my
backlog.
Steam library is it is unlimited, and it's somehow infinite and yet growing, and so it's an ever increasing infinite sum, and I feel you, but I think it holds up. I really love that game. I thought it was really it's really unique because it's sort of this meditative open world adventure game.
I love
that. And that's a kind of a weird blend of, and it even has these really elaborate boss fight. I mean, I say really elaborate, certainly by Giant Squid standards. They're certainly visually very elaborate. They're relatively simple mechanically, but they're crazy cool looking. And it's just such a far cry from something like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, it's. I hope more people discover it.
Yeah.
But it seems people are finding this, so that makes me happy.
Assassin's Creed Syndicate, one of the best soundtracks in that whole franchise.
Oh, that's very kind.
Does working on a big mega budget game differ from working on a smaller budget game? With, there's just so many less people involved in the production of something like Sword of the Sea. How does that affect your work?
No, I mean, actually, a perfect demonstration of how crazy that can be is that the team shipped. I was a very small part of the team that shipped Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And I remember I was at GDC the following year or two, and I was walking, and I hear some guy yell my name, and there's this dude came running up to me with like a big cardboard tube poster mailer. And he pulled it out, and it had a Assassin's Creed Syndicate poster that had like 1,000 signatures on it. And he was like, "Hey, I'm Jeff. I was one of your producers, and yours is the only signature from the team I'm still missing."
Whoa!
And it was crazy that we shipped this game, and I never even met him. I never even knew he existed until that moment. Other than maybe some email distantly somewhere. And because a game like that, there's so many different departments, and I end up in the audio department where there's kind of multiple layers of producers and things that I'm interacting with, and occasionally we would have meetings with the narrative team at the higher level, or even occasionally like the kind of brand managers above them. Mm-hmm. But there's gameplay departments and the cinematics folks, and the narrative department that I would mostly have almost no contact with, which having a team that's remember the final head count on Syndicate, if I remember correctly, was like 1,028.
That sounds right.
It was about
yep. That sounds right.
Yeah. Whereas Sword of the Sea was it's like they're similar size to Supergiant, like 15 to 20.
So
Journey was less than 15. I think it was like 13 for most of it.
Yeah.
If you go all the way back to the beginning, the original Flow was literally me and Nick Clark and Genova.
Wild.
I should say the first iteration of Flow. It grew to, a mammoth, I think 5 people when we did it as a PlayStation game. So yeah, that one was funny. To literally meet people who worked on it, and I just have no idea they existed.
Yeah.
But that also means that there's a lot of horsepower behind it that does let you do, like, we got to make some really complicated music systems to account for the way that you see it, the way
that's the thing I was wondering
works.
too, like with that kind of hierarchy and just that number of hands in the pot, like how much of a game like Syndicate do you hand them music and then like you're surprised by where it ends up?
So this is where sometimes that is the case. There are occasionally games where I've worked on it, and after I'm kind of theoretically done, there's a few 11th hour changes that just are necessitated, whether it's a last minute bit of inspiration from a level designer realizing, oh, we could do this, we could do that, or a bug that required something, or a play test comes back and they realize this part's not working. Is it possible to just cut this little thing? And so occasionally I'll be told, like I've had things on Lego Fortnite where the audio director will circle back and he'll go, oh, we were doing this big content update, but there was this other thing that got added, and I found out about it, kind of at the last minute. So he said, I took, like this one component of one of the cues that you did for this other area, and I just that one little pad was a really nice little thing here, and it's sort of extracting out just a little fragment of another piece, not meant for that, and he was able to solve it without even calling me up.
Got it.
This one, they really spoiled me. I was a big fan of the franchise. I am a big fan of the franchise. I had played them all backward and forward, and I came into that first meeting and I said, look, I'm really grateful that you want to work with me. I'm thrilled to be part of it. Are you open to me, pretty aggressively trying to get in the guts of how the music system works, and can we do some pretty aggressive reauthorship of literally, I'm not talking about the aesthetics of the music and the instruments we're using and all that. That was also a big departure from the prior ones, but it was just the literal functionality. And the audio director, this woman, Lydia Andrew, and the music supervisor, a guy named Christian Pacard, were both like, let's go, man. And Christian and I became like these brothers in arms. And he was such an enabler of all my worst behavior. Because, we
paid off.
We went into, we were able to do a lot of tweaks and build on what was there, but also kind of reinvent a lot of things. And just, again, from a purely systemic standpoint. And so there was very little of this kind of, oh, that's funny, you use this, that. It was always, they made me part of that conversation, which was so great. Because
Nice.
I would say I can probably help. I can come up with solutions, And
I ran into Olivier Durier at Gamescom, and like he's
He's
big
brilliant.
onto that and like figuring out new systems for what he did with Dying Light and South of Midnight and all of that stuff. And
Oh yeah, Get Even is a good example as well. A game that he did where
I feel like I'm the only. Did you just reference Get Even?
I did.
I feel like I'm the only human who's ever finished that game.
yeah. Well, I
Seriously.
did not finish that game,
That
so
is
your
wild.
your record stands. But
Yeah. Wow.
but Olivier, that's also a very detailed interactive score, and it's actually funny that probably his most popular scores are the Plague Tale games,
Right.
which are some of his less interactive ones.
Right.
Which is funny. It's an irony because I have a real kinship with him in the way that we quite obsess over this stuff. Like how do we make the music alive and dynamic and not just the kind of traditional ways where you go, okay, add drums when the bad guys start shooting and all the kind of typical things that have become very standard. It's like there's got to be something better that we can do, hopefully. But it's also very mechanics dependent. It's not like, for example, the reason I would guess, I haven't really dug into this with him, but I would think that the reason why Plague Tale was relatively simple is for the same reason that Sword of the Sea is relatively simple, is that the game doesn't need crazy elaborate systems. We have a few places where it gets a little tricky, but the more complicated the game, the more complicated the music system tends to be. Why open world games like a Fortnite or Assassin's Creed Syndicate or Pathless tend to be way more elaborate than this Sword of the Sea or something more linear, Journey or Aliens, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun. I love it. It's one of those where it's interesting how there, people ask all the time, what's the difference between scoring a movie and scoring a game? And I said there's this whole other side of it that there's just absolutely no parallel whatsoever. Film, a 9-hour massive epic or a 5-minute student short film still have the same mechanics. You hit play, at some point it's done. So the music is either playing or it's not at any given moment within that stretch, and that's all that there is to it, mechanically speaking. And boy, is that not true with games.
Yeah, I mean, well, even with this, it's like there's so many times when I would notice the music dropping out when I was like, oh, I'm not going to the critical path right now. I'm going to wander around, and like things pull back and get more subtle and just like allow you the space to do that rather than being in like the big emotions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, we do a lot of monitoring of things of how long has the player been in this space? What real-time velocity do they have?
Mm-hmm.
Have they stopped moving? And are they basically looking at something? Did they put the controller down to go answer the phone? What are it's hard to know exactly why they're doing things. And you try to make the music kind of intelligently guess. But yeah, you put in all these different ways of making it reflect their experience. It's a weird thing. I've never really satisfactorily come up with a way to describe it, because it feels like we are creating an experience for them to hopefully like and resonate with, but we also want them to feel like they're an author in that experience to some degree, where they're really driving it or at least co-piloting it, where it was like, oh, I did this and I felt cause and effect very noticeably. Even though not in a Minecraft kind of way of like, look what I built.
Yeah.
It exists in this interesting, because it's not super on rails. Some games are obviously like Cuphead or something where you're going along and you live or you die. You basically
right.
rise to the occasion.
Live, die, repeat.
You live to the you rise to the occasion of what it's asking you to do, or you don't. You try again, but there's no real agency in the kind of unfolding of it. It's
Right. Yeah. The boss just moves on to phase 2, and then
yeah,
the
it's
next
very
part kicks in. Yeah.
exactly. And so that's a very different kind of experience from Minecraft, and then but a game like Sword of the Sea and so many of these others fit in this interesting middle zone where you're going, I am I am in control to some degree, but of someone else's creation. And I want the player to feel a lot of that. I always say I want to feel them. I want the player to feel like I'm inviting them to kind of step through a door and experience an
Love
emotion.
that
I'm not
feeling.
like grabbing them by the shoulder and trying to make them feel something, And I've never really been convinced that I've stuck this landing exactly, because it sounds all very grand and lofty, like I'm describing something very kind of intellectual, and then you watch someone play, and it's like, it's always humbling to watch streamers in particular, where it's like, ooh, they're gonna really love this part, and right when it comes up, they're like, oh, hey, thanks for the subs, and it's like, oh well,
Oh my God.
maybe someone else will like that little thing we
No,
did.
your music affects my emotions for sure.
well,
Well, then you also
100%.
this year you're on Eternal Strands, and that's got a whole
Yeah, it's also
pile
kind
of things going on.
Yeah, also another one that's sort of almost open world, but not quite, and had its own considerations. Funny enough, that guy, Jeff, who was the producer on Assassin's Creed Syndicate, left Ubisoft to start Yellow Brick Games. And it was because of that time he and I met in the lobby of the Moscone Center during GDC that he called me up, him and Mike Laidlaw, the writer and the director of that game, who had left BioWare, from the Dragon Age franchise, and they said, hey, we've started a new studio, do you want to work on Eternal Strands? And which I loved. I mean, that was, multiple years and a lot of former Ubisoft folks on that team. The audio director is this guy, Aldo Sampaio, who had been the audio director on like AC Valhalla, Black Flag, and there's one other that I'm blanking on, and plus a ton others. I mean, he went back to like Destroy All Humans at what was that studio called? Pandemic? Was that what that studio was called?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think so.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
It was very tenured, amazing, brilliant audio director and sound designer and all these things. And anyway, so yeah, that was a fun one. I really loved that one. I remember Mike saying, why do we make so many RPGs that are so damn grim? He's like, I want to make a game that's closer in tone to Indiana Jones, where it's kind of fun, and at its most harrowing, it's still got a kind of a wink and a nod quality. And I was like, that sounds great. That sounds like a blast. Like I love that kind of, because I love RPGs. I love big, grand, games like that. But at the same time, with a very different emotional goal, which is cool. I really loved it.
Yeah.
It's so heavy.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of emotional impact, we had a comment in chat from Ozymandias. It's missing the Dias.
Yeah.
But
right.
they wanted to say, Austin, I just wanted to say that I listened to the Journey score 10 years ago. The first night I brought my newborn daughter home from the hospital, and I cried such beautiful tears. Thank you for that.
Look at that.
Thought that was nice.
That's really touching. I wish I had a response to that does justice to that. That's a really kind thing to say.
So awesome.
Of course, there's the part of the story of like, I was trying to change what was playing to something else. And,
It wasn't supposed to be that, exactly.
yeah, Alexa, I didn't mean that, Johnny. No, for real, that's really, I don't know what to say to that. That's very kind. I appreciate you sharing that.
It's awesome.
One thing I was thinking of, though, is just like, with Journey and Sword of the Sea, it's kind of, they're very much like landscape games, right? So what is it like trying to think up the sound of a place, right? Because if you're hiking in the Malibu hills and you come up at a crest and you see the ocean, there's not a choir there to punctuate the moment.
I don't know how you hike, but...
yeah, there might be some bugs, but... Yeah.
Right, yeah, there's a choir right there. It's interesting. Funny enough, with this one, we kind of intentionally did something, in a way, subversive of exactly what you just said. I remember Matt coming down to my studio really early to work on this. In fact, actually, what was funny is we had made a bunch of Pathless vinyls, and I was selling them through my Bandcamp, and I wanted his signature. So he came down to my studio, or up to my studio, I guess, from here, up in the valley, and we had already started on Sword of the Sea, and I was sketching different things, and I was playing around with it being a lot more electronic, and I had kind of latched on to this children's choir being part of it, which is a whole separate story I can tell you, which was really funny and odd and kind of slightly trolly. But
Okay.
but I remember we were talking, and I have this like rickety upright piano in my studio that's just like sounds super janky, and I got it for like
the
no
dream.
money. And yeah, it was one of those I had rented. I was working on this VR game called Luna with a studio called Phenomena, and I had rented it to record for that. I really wanted like a janky upright, like didn't tune it. Still to this day, I've never tuned it.
Yeah.
And
They
so
did that with Bioshock Infinite as well.
yeah, there's something about
They
that.
played on something they wanted that raw sound.
It
yeah.
feels like it's like a church basement piano, you know. It's like it's sort of forgotten, but it's still it's still well maintained.
Yeah.
It's just kind of atrophied with time more than anything. And anyway, so I had it sitting next to my desk, and I was just kind of like noodling and messing around while Matt was signing stuff. We were just talking, and he kind of went, what you just played, that basically what Sword of the Sea seems like it should be. And I was so caught off guard because piano is actually not an instrument I use very often. In fact, another game from this year, Towerborn, is one of the only other times I've ever really featured it heavily because it usually runs counter to the goal. Because in my mind, piano, everyone knows piano. Not whether they play it or not, they know the sound of a piano. Whereas if I play you an oboe, toss up on if you're going to know that's an oboe versus, you might probably go, well, it's a woodwind of some kind, right? Like, I know it's not a trumpet. I know it's not a snare drum.
Same experience when I was playing Herdling today. It's like, I know those are woodwinds, but I'm not sure exactly what.
Yeah, and that's normal. Like, no one would expect you to know the difference between these, it can get very minutiae. Like, can you hear the difference between a violin and a viola? To most people, they can't even tell the difference looking at them. But piano no one doesn't know piano. And so, also, it's a thing we associate with, like, our living room, or like a thing I played as a kid, or that sort of thing. It has a very homey, very grounded quality. And so, especially these games that are, kind of fantastical or mythic, they're meant to feel like I always said Pathless felt like it's a playable version of that experience of a group sitting around a campfire and trying to tell the story of the constellations. That was what I said Pathless felt like to me. It was not the hero was born in the land of Argaroth, but it's like there was a hunter who slayed the dragon. Like everything is super broad archetypes. That's what Pathless was. And so piano would seemingly bring that down to earth in a way that totally runs counter to what we're trying to do. And so it was very surprising and it's like avant-garde almost in my weird way of thinking when Matt goes, what if this was all piano? Like what if pianos, but the more I thought about it, it's like, that is interesting because it means that you have this very kind of fantastical, abstract world and all this exotic architecture and obviously these like undulating waves of sand that move like water in a way that's almost supernatural looking. And to anchor all that with the most familiar possible sound. So in a way, it was actually resisting the urge to describe the place. It was going, how do we make this feel so like it's normal almost? That's where that impulse seemingly began, which is very counterintuitive. Would never in a million years have if Matt hadn't been at my studio that day and just kind of latched on. I think he also liked the fact that you can kind of play in this, and there's a sense of rolling momentum, and momentum is so crucial to this.
Sure.
That it's not, you can be kind of like busy without sounding fast. Whereas like a violin going, it's just sort of intrinsically high energy. It's hard to do that.
Syndicate
gently.
vibes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Syndicate's sort of the extreme version of that. So yeah, I don't know. It's one of those where it's one of those that I love where the collaboration with the team invariably takes you places you wouldn't go on your own. That's what I love. It's like adding DNA to me that I can't get elsewhere. You know what I mean? And I like that. Otherwise I just probably end up coming up with the same idea every time. It's just limit of imagination, I guess. So yeah, this one, we were sort of in a way deliberately not describing the environment or the place or anything like that. Whereas Pathless is the exact opposite. And another thing with the Pathless was because of that whole folklore quality of sitting around a campfire like a kind of pre-civilization tribe or something, describing a constellation and telling their mythology to each other. The idea was also, what if the music sounds like it's from some kind of cultural tradition, but it has to not be a real one. And that's actually really hard to do. It took forever to, and I don't know if I succeeded, but that was the goal because you thought, if I use, bagpipes, it's Scottish intrinsically.
Right.
And if I use like a koto, it's Japanese. If I use, Senegalese talking drums, we're in northern Western Africa. If I use Appalachian fiddle, we're in Appalachia, et cetera, et cetera. It's like folk traditions musically cannot be separated from where they're from. It just sounds like you're doing a send-up of that thing at best, or it's just like a lazy kind of skimming of the surface of some tradition at worst. And so it's like, how do I mix these things together where it kind of starts to just feel like it's from somewhere, but it's not refined. It's not like classical music, which is literally hundreds of years of people kind of evolving this art form and it going through all these changes. It needed to feel more primal than that, less refined, but of a place, but just not of any real place. And thank God we had like 4 years or whatever to do it, because I felt like I was iterating on that, because it blends all these things. There's Tuvan throat singing, and there's Irish aspects to it, and there's Central African aspects to it, and there's Arabic aspects to it, and there's kind of Eastern European. There's a weird connectivity between the Appalachian like fiddle tradition and Eastern European fiddle tradition. They're oddly related. So there's like bits of both of those, and God knows if any of it worked. I mean, like I said, people keep discovering the game, so it seems like there hasn't been a huge case study on whether it worked or not yet, sadly.
I'm gonna play it,
but it was fun. I mean, look, one of the most memorable experiences of my life was working with those throat singers on this. That was because we didn't really speak each other's language. They're from Tuva. Yeah. So we just met up in a studio in Washington, D.C., and literally just jammed together. And I had a piano that was like a digital keyboard so that they could hear what I was playing in their headphones, but it wasn't in the microphones. So like they'd play a thing and I'd kind of riff with them, and then I'd speed it up or I'd slow it down, and it's like I'm kind of pushing. They would just jam in their normal Tuvan folk style, basically. But then I would throw wrenches in it, and they'd kind of like absorb that, and then, toss that around for a bit, and then I'd try another thing, and we just literally just hit go in Pro Tools and played for 6 hours.
Awesome.
And then I had this, and they're singing and they're playing.
Is there a recording of that?
There is a video on YouTube.
Awesome.
There is a video on YouTube that shows a bunch of what it looked like. I'm sure you can find it on here.
Sick.
If you type my name, it's because on my channel. Close enough.
Very cool.
There's unfortunately a bunch of those, but if you scroll down, I can tell you which one it was. And in fact, it's going to be really obvious because you'll see the guy there. Alosh Ensemble raw recording session
Sick.
footage. So you can see the way. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
It's just like I'm on my little digital keyboard and they're all playing. We had the percussionist. You can see on the screen there. He was in an ISO booth, so he could whack the crap out of his drums and it wouldn't blast out the rest of the mics.
I love that the low overtone singing. I can do the high version of it, but I don't know how they do the low one without hurting themselves.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely like a specialized vocal technique because you try to do it and you do something that's kind of superficially similar, and about 3 seconds later you're like coughing. But they're on a whole other level. These guys literally, if you just like Google throat singing, you're probably gonna get them.
Yeah,
they give TED Talk about it and stuff, and they just tour around playing it, and it was awesome. It was one of those where what had happened was, sorry to be going on forever about this game, but what had happened was I knew we wanted to feature it, and I wrote all this music and I sent it to them. They were in New York, and I booked a recording studio in New York, and it was just a quick hour and a half kind of thing to test. So I was monitoring remote. I didn't fly out for that one. And, they're amazing musicians. And so they were trying to kind of perform what I had written. I gave them stuff and I would play it for them. And I had made some sheet music, and they could read sheet music. It's not their strength, but they could read it. But it really felt like I was kind of forcing them into my musical vocabulary, right? It was like, I come from a Western tradition, obviously. So and I had this epiphany. Well, so I gave them this stuff. They played, they were great, but there was clearly an awkwardness to it. And I wrote all this music, like over an hour or more music over the course of the next year. And then at some point, I just had this epiphany where I went, I should do this. I should just jam with them, and then let the music tumble out of that. And so I threw away everything I'd written on the game for the first year and a half. We did this, what you're seeing here, recorded for a day of just nonstop, and then I would kind of like lay that as the base paint and go, okay, now do I want to add strings or my fiddles or what, and everything was kind of in reaction to that, and it let them be the star, and it never kind of forced them, because then they just jammed and just kind of followed their gut, and so it always sounds right. It always sounds like, yep, no, that's them doing the thing that they've spent decades perfecting. It totally changed me, because I work like that kind of regularly now. I frequently will collaborate in a very improvisational way with people that are sort of outside the normal thing of what I do. I had never really paid attention to that as a way to work until this, and it kind of totally changed my whole outlook on music.
Was it hard to throw away a year and a half's
Oh no, man!
work? Were you just like, screw it, let's go?
No, yeah, it's like I have like a weird, it's like like a fixation of it, because it feels like I've actually made progress. If I sit and I write a thing and I go, yep, that's perfect, it's like immediately suspect that I've lost, I've lost my filter. I've lost my, because I always say to people, anyone who's nice enough to say I'm a good composer, I always say, you're actually wrong. I'm a terrible composer. What you don't realize is that I'm reasonably good at throwing away the 99% of stuff I write that's absolute shit. And I think I'm a reasonable curator. Like I'm not, because I write huge amounts, and then I have to look at it and go, okay, I know that most of this isn't good, but which is the good part? And it can be really hard to tell. Remember on Abzu, there were huge chunks of that game that I was consistently running a 5-to-1 ratio of, I would write 45 minutes for every 5 minutes that would survive.
Wow.
Wow. But it really felt like, okay, I really have truly tried stuff here. I really have. I'm not just going with my gut in a kind of mindless way. I can actually say I've tried a lot of different things, and I can say with some confidence this is probably the best approach, at least until we put it in game, and then I realize, oh no, that sucks. Throw it away. Throw that away too.
Right.
Because the game is just so much cooler than what the music is doing that I have to try to catch up. That happens all the time.
Amazing.
Yeah, Damiani, you want to get something in there?
Any other questions?
Yeah, sorry to be. I feel like I'm really hogging
sort
you.
of to see was I played it too, played it completion. Wanted to like jump back in as soon as I finished it, and again the music in it. Just like I only played Journey before.
Ever? That's the one and only other game you've played?
Sorry.
And Final Fantasy 14.
I did the dramatic pause without finishing the thought there, because I kind of like just brain freeze. I hadn't played Abzu or.
No, I got you. I'm just. Yeah. Of course.
So I was
I'm being evil.
Yeah. But it was like I just couldn't put it down. And I mean, it was the music, it was the visuals, like how it felt to play. Felt like so good.
They've
it
really
in Journey just feels it's just so natural to play, and it's just fun to see what you can do. And I really appreciated how much freedom it felt like I had to see I love questioning like, am I supposed to go here? Am I supposed to do this? And then just being like that kind of caution being thrown to the wind eventually, be like, I'm just do what you want, like have fun, like stop worrying. Like I have that little bit of anxiety in the beginning of any game. It's like still feeling it out, but like didn't that washed over really quickly in this game. And I really loved the movement, how the character moved on that sword surfboard across the sand and water, and it was sick. The environments as they it was like where we went, I was like, this is really cool, very cool to look at.
So sick.
They're a really inspiring team. They do weekly or multiple times per week meetings where I would see them. For years we worked on this 3.5 years, something like that. And you'd see them, everything you just described was so much work, where they knew the target, and it was like, well, like looking at this footage here, they go, how pulled back should the camera get during the apex of your arc in the half pipe? Like they would spend so long on little details like that because it makes such a difference in the quality of life of playing it, and so that it feels like, honestly, what you just said is like, I should like clip that, because that's like their dream to hear. I can sort of confidently speak on their behalf that they worked so hard to try to get that reaction, to make it just feel natural, and to make it feel like anywhere you go, you should, and you're invited to, and there's something there, and that's cool looking. And yeah, Matt led by Matt, but with multiple people contributing. The visuals, they have a superhuman knack. And the crazy thing is that I was saying this the other day on a different thing, where I was complimenting Matt and trying my best to make him blush, but this is very genuine, where I'd be playtesting the game on every couple of days for years on end, and you kind of get used to how it looks, and you think, man, this looks so good. Like, I'm just so in awe of them. They're real artists. And then even just like a couple months ago, Matt would get on Slack or whatever and go, hey everyone, I'm checking in just a little tweak I made to this we would call these landmarks. He's like, this landmark, the canyon landmark is what our shorthand for this one was. And he was made a little pass, just some updates. You load in the build, and it's like night and day all of a sudden from what it was. And for the last year, I was like, oh, how cool looking is it? And then suddenly now it looks like this. And I went, what was it even before that I was so enamored by? Because he just would go in and tweak. He'd tweak the lighting. He'd tweak in, shadows and just like it just explodes to life one day to the next. And I still don't understand. I just don't understand that. It's something unnatural.
Some magic.
It really is. It's some Faustian. He sold his soul to someone at some point because it's so. They're all really good.
One of my favorite, and I think one of the best games of the year, no doubt.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, that's very kind. I can take very little credit for any of that, but I feel very grateful.
Lies.
No, I mean
the music is like a half of this game.
No, I don't think so. You're kind to say, but I really just feel so lucky to have a front row seat to watching people make something amazing. It's very inspiring. It's one of those like I can barely wait to try new stuff and to experiment and Matt in particular is so just like, do what you think. That time he said use the piano. That was the only time he ever made any kind of request or anything. And if I had had a strong argument why I thought piano was a bad idea, I'm sure he would have listened. He would have, kind of trusted that instinct was coming from somewhere. But yeah, they're really good at kind of saying, let me try this, let me try that, and he's really become a great leader. He was always a great leader, but he's really grown a lot in learning how to give everyone on the team a lot of agency in building it. He doesn't have that.
That's awesome.
That like very ego auteur drive
collaboration,
to go, like a Matt Nava game. Like not at all. He always refers to everything as we did this and we did that, and it really is true. Like everyone on the team does a lot.
Awesome. All right, Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Herdling time?
Herdling time.
Herdling. Tell us about herdling.
Yeah, so what's funny is, I saw, the thing that motivated me to actually jump into it and push through is I saw that you had picked it up this week.
Yeah, I bought it and then never played it. I'm sorry to say.
Well,
we all do that.
You'll get to it.
I know,
we all do it.
Someone was likening it to, or they were just saying it was this and Sword of the Sea. They were kind of dual wielding and they were kind of somehow similar. They kind of seemed of a kind, I guess.
Yeah,
sure.
No, I do think there is a little bit of similarity in that, you are going on this long journey, across these wide open landscapes, and with this you have these creatures. And you start off, you're just like some kid sleeping on a mattress in an alleyway. And you get waken up by this car alarm going off. You find this car that's been flipped over, some beaten up fences, and then you find these creatures that are called calicorns. And this weird mix of kind of a little bit of a sheep and kind of a little bit of a bear and kind of a little bit of a rabbit. And they come in different sizes. And you start wandering around the city and finding them in different, see this little guy. And when you find them and you tame them,
this looks awesome.
They actually give you a prompt to put in a name.
Right, I just saw that.
Yeah, and so I thought this one looked like a bunny, so I named it Bunny. There was another one that I rescued from falling off a cliff, so I named him Cliff.
Right.
That's fun.
I hadn't realized this game takes place, or at least starts, in a real modern city.
Industrial,
I thought it was kind of
area.
more fantasy setting or something when I glanced at the trailer, and apparently I missed.
Yeah, I mean it is, but it has this as well.
Yeah, so that's a cool blend.
So kind of your introduction to the game before you get to the title screen is this city area. This is a funny thing is you've got the traffic cones to teach you how to do the herding mechanics.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
One of the things I think that they've added, because I played played this a little bit at GDC. I think they added the white UI lines to make it easier because I remember struggling like trying to like get that down. It's like, okay, I want them to go this way, but I don't know exactly how to do it. And now with like this just added extra little bits, it makes a big difference. It is definitely like it's not a long game. I think it's like 4 to 5 hours. But I would say it's definitely like a slower pace to things. Like you go across these wide areas and you pick up, another Calicorn here or there. And once in a while there will be like new mechanics like here, like having to learn like how do we get through this brush, and then like you can use like what they call a stampede to kind of like push them forward, give them like a boost, like in a racing game almost, and then they'll get through the tall grass and bushes like this.
Blood, you're so good about finding all these like meditative games, man. That is like your wheelhouse now, dude. No more blood on the tracks, dude.
But that's the thing, Huber. Like we'll probably see it like when we get later into the B-roll. But as you progress, then it's like then you do get into like more risky areas. It's like okay,
more threats.
There's like early on, like there's these bits. Like you'll see like the scrap metal, right? Like if they run into that scrap metal, they're gonna get injured. And then you've got to feed them to recover their health.
I don't want to see a single hunter in this game, dude. No, thank you.
Poachers, poachers.
I don't want to see.
There's no poachers that I've seen, but the birds. So they actually have stealth sections, Huber. So there's just like these big birds. You get introduced to them because every once in a while you'll probably see one here after this like puzzle section. Every once in a while, you'll come across these like campfires, and you kind of gather everyone up, make sure everyone's all good, bring them around the campfire. You've got to find some bits of wood, and then spark the fire, and then you just kind of sleep on the mat. Yeah, this is one of the when you find them when they're injured. So that's kind of teaching you that like bringing them food will heal the injury. And this little guy. So this is the thing. I think some of them are probably missable because I don't know like if you might be able to move on without finding this guy under the train. I just heard a voice, and it's like where? Okay, I know there's something around here, but where is he? And I know for sure that like if you're not careful enough, you can lose some of them. Because your herd gets bigger and bigger over time, and there's more and more obstacles.
XCOM thing where you naming them makes that all the more devastating.
Yeah, like you become very attached to each one of them. Yeah,
I'm not emotionally prepared for this.
I'm save scumming. I'm reloading the save.
Yeah. I still miss socks from XCOM, dude. Socks.
And then but when you do these campfires, you get like this. You have a dream, and you get like these little visions, so like up to your interpretation. Like, okay, who is that? What is that? What's happening? But yeah, you get further and further out into the wilderness. You start to find these shrines here where like they're like these little like totems and things dangling, and then you can start decorating each of your Calicorn with different things that'll like hang from their
That's
antlers.
So fun. What's the objective? Like, why are you herding them somewhere?
I mean, the basic thing is that you're trying to get them out of the city, right?
Okay,
you know that they're not supposed to be in the city, that you know that they're going to be hurt there.
Got it.
And then you very early on you see this mural of some Calicorns looking at this thing, and then the Calicorns like do this sort of magical thing where like they show you like this is where we're supposed to be kind of thing. And so you're just sort of on that journey to bring them to their home.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Austin, when you look at a game or even a movie, do you imagine some music, or do you like turn that creative side off and just
Oh, like while playing?
Yeah. Do you imagine like how you would do it or how it could go?
Rare, almost never.
Okay.
I really enjoy. I mean, a lot of games are scored by friends and colleagues of mine, and I just delight in, there's so many of them that are so talented, and I really love kind of,
just experiencing those.
Hearing what they did in all the ways that's so different than what I might have tried or et cetera, et cetera. And to the whole conversation about the interactive design, I'm frequently playing games, trying to see if I can figure out exactly how they've implemented it. You know, can I figure out where the edges of their system are, that sort of thing.
Right. Yeah, I was kind of doing the same thing with this too, because like when you do like that speed boost, like they bring the music up for that, even though it's like it's not a very long time.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of stuff that I would be. Yeah, no, I'm very much comfortably a consumer of games when I'm playing, you know, and just you know, predisposed to looking for the best. I'm not like a hard. It's funny how I'm not like a stickler. You work in the industry, and a lot of people kind of tend to like. I've seen games like this, and you started to get jaded, and oh dear, it's giving me some Ori trauma.
Definitely.
But I'm not like that. I'm not jaded at all.
Nice.
I love that there's
the variety.
And in a way I love that there's that problem of having too many good games. You know, it's not even like there's too much shovelware. There's too many good games.
Too many good games, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's this team based? I don't know anything about them. You said
they did Far. They did Far. I just learned.
Yeah, I don't know where they're based at.
Far, like the side-scrolling games.
Yeah, with the ship thing. Yeah.
Those were cool.
Yeah. Same
There's more
crew.
than one of those, isn't there?
Zurich,
Yeah, they did
Switzerland.
2 of those, right?
Yeah, there were 2 of those.
Okay, yeah. I liked those games.
They're from Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Okay, great.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, and at this point, like now that things are getting more dangerous, like I kind of like have them like stay behind and go scout out the different paths. Like, okay, which way do we want to go here? And again, like they do give you some tutorial prompts on a few things, but there are certain like systems and things that like I really didn't start to understand until like later in the game because they're not fully explained to you. They still leave an air of mystery for you to kind of like sort things out and be like, okay, how does this work? Yeah. So like one of the things I was saying with like eating the fruit to heal. It's like, oh, okay, I there's more there than I realized at first. So. And yeah, this is a fun little fairy thing. It's like get everybody on the ferry.
Little Far vibes. Yeah, that's a nod.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So.
Awesome, Blood. You just put this on my radar, dude. I hadn't even heard of this.
It's 100% like one of those like play in one night.
God.
Get a nice emotional experience by the end.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of remember the game that you plays it was made by a guy who was sort of inspired by growing up with an alcoholic parent. I'm blanking on the name. Where there's like a monster that you have to activate, but it enrages when you, like you need it to solve puzzles, to move heavy objects and things, and you're like this kid, and you're moving around through like a favela kind of neighborhood. It's like it's like set in like a kind of Sao Paulo type.
I think I know what you're thinking.
Chat probably knows.
I was thinking of Majin at first, but no, you're thinking of something else.
Yeah, this is like more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank on the name, but it was one of those where it was similarly you had to kind of, partner with a Papa Yo.
Oh, there you go.
Sick.
There we go.
Axis got it in chat.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there, something about this feels like a slightly less stressful version of that game to me. I could be wrong, but there's something about that mixture of the fantastical and the not, and the kind of creature support that is semi like you're sort of helping them and they're helping you, but you're also like stressed looking after them. And there's elements of that.
Yeah, I mean, and there's some. Cool. There's some things that like again we're talking about like some of the systemic things like I'm just curious because like I would notice that like that same little guy that I found that was like under the train right in the train yard. For some reason like he would be the guy that I would always have to like get like the brambles out of his fur. It's like that was something that could happen to any of them, but it seemed like it always seemed to happen to him. He was the one that I had to go and get some as like just something to his nature.
Yeah.
That he'd pick up more sticks and stuff that
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like Snow and the Seven
personalities
Dwarfs.
to each one of them. Yeah.
Very cool, Blood. So hyped on that now. Herdling.
Yeah, it just came out I think while we were at Gamescom.
Very cool. All right. Next up, it's time, Damiani. And Don and everyone, it's time to discuss the GOTY.
It's okay, there's another GOTY every week.
Yes, GOTY every week.
It's all right. We're all on borrowed time from Expedition 33, don't worry.
Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Holy moly. This game, I think it's finally out tonight.
Yeah, I think it's out.
I
now,
saw there's early access yesterday because
Yeah.
people were streaming it last night.
Yes.
I was curious to see. I was watching it was Tiffany Lockhart was streaming it.
Yeah.
I wanted to see. She actually got a little bit further than actually I had gotten. I was like curious to see how they were liking it, and
Yeah.
people seem to be liking it too. So
Hell yeah.
it was really good to see.
Yeah, the year of the ninja, man.
The Year of the Ninja. Don't
because we
sleep on
had-
Ninja Gaiden Ragebound.
Yeah, Ragebound, but they're definitely two different types of games. You know,
They complement each other
they're similar,
so well.
but like they just feel so different. And
Yes.
I mean, I could just tell Shinobi when you guys were showing me footage of it because I played the Ninja Gaiden Ragebound demo when that dropped, and it felt good. But like that's more in the vein of like the Messenger that came before, which is paying homage to like the old school Ninja Gaiden. Like
Sure.
they seem to like keep iterating on each other and getting better and better. And that's
Right?
Like that. Yeah. Where this is like it's so intriguing because I didn't know this at all going into it. Other than everyone kept saying Metroidvania, so I'm like, okay, it's a Metroidvania. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be dropped in. There's gonna be like a tutorial area,
Tiny bit.
and then it's a big world, and it's like. It's stages, but the stages have an element of that. They're like self-contained
okay.
Metroidvania.
Totally.
And then you could go back to previous areas with powers,
Yep.
but they're isolated from each other. But I still like that. Like that's
Same.
even if you're gonna do level-based design, that's still a nice way to kind of elevate that kind of like engagement in terms of like I want to go back. Other than just like, can I beat it faster? Can I beat it without getting hit? It's like there's other objectives that you can do in there, and you want to see if you can reach that area, get that power up. Because this game is the powers in this game, the traversal mechanics in this game,
It's so good.
It just feels good. Like, dude, I'm playing it on the default difficulty cuber.
Yeah.
So like normal.
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
intense.
And like, there's only one boss I came across that like beat me a few times, but other ones like because of like the stuff I've got, I feel like I'm just like it feels so good to play, but also like Hubert, I feel like I might need to crank up the difficulty.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking that at one point because like the second major boss, I just destroyed it. I was like, wait, that's it? I was like, this might be too easy. Then I get to like a new area, like the Neon City.
Yeah.
And I get like just remedial stuff getting wrecked by it. I'm like dying so much. I'm like, and like the platforming, because I love these games that fuse the combat and the platforming. And they have a lot of those challenging, because it's not even, it's like disguised. It doesn't like immediately signal, hi, I'm a giant platforming challenge environment, which was kind of a thing in Prince of Persia last year, which had excellent segments like that, but they were clearly telegraphed that this is going to be a platforming challenge environment, and even let you skip it if you didn't like it. But this, it's like, wait, can I actually go through this area? It's like you're trying stuff, and it's like, sometimes you're like, do I need another power, or am I actually supposed to go through here? And some of them you are, and I like that. And then mixing in the enemies, like the only other game that does it this well besides like Ninja Gaiden is like Hollow Knight, like throwing in those like challenge platforming segments and then throwing asshole placement enemies at you. It's like
some ranged filth, like sniping you from here, then like other like melee guys rushing you. Yeah, the unit composition all the time in these encounters is so good, because one of the main mechanics is like armor. Enemies will have armor, and you'll need to break their armor, but then you're trying to break this like melee enemy's armor, and you're just getting harassed from all these different angles. And then another one of the main mechanics is like their stagger meter. You have different ways, so like heavy attacks and your like kunai will raise their stagger meter.
Okay.
And if you raise their stagger meter enough, you can do an execution move.
Yes.
But if you combo that, so if you leave enemies alive, but in that stagger state, you can like finish off multiple enemies at the same time, and that gives you a ton more rewards.
Because
it's so addicting.
Is that one of those things you just discover? Or is it?
It tells you.
It steps you. Okay.
Yeah.
Tutorialize that.
Yeah.
I got to play like 5 minutes one day when Don had it installed here and he went in the other room. And I remember that. Yeah, you could like take out multiple guys after a stagger. Yeah.
Of course, it's from Lizard Cube. We're enthusiasts here because the last thing they made was, of course, Streets of Rage 4.
Another Olivier Driviere game.
Yep.
Yes. This one, the composers are T-Lopes and, of course, the ultimate Yuzo Koshiro collaborating. just like they did on Streets of Rage 4. And yeah, I think the movement, Damiani, and just I compare it to Streets of Rage 4 because we always joke around, oh, it's really easy to pick up, hard to master. You can get through this game with like really basic attacks and combos and everything, but sometimes you will just realize like, whoa, I'm a badass ninja right now. Like the way you start just comboing your moves, because what's really cool is the combo meter won't reset until you get hit, which I actually
That's
love.
pretty cool. Yeah.
And there are perks that go, like the equipables that work around that system too, which is awesome.
So just like comboing your moves, you can like dive kick and dash and use your flame breath and your ultimates. The way you just start comboing combat and traversal is unreal.
Other than tracking that you hit that many things in a row, what does the combo meter do?
It unlocks the perk benefits. So like you'll equip medallions.
One of the first ones you can get is like if you get to a 15-hit combo, your attacks are doing more damage as long as that combo string keeps going,
15 or higher,
and then it'll reset back too. And I'm sure there's more like that. But like as Heber said, like you got the repertoire of attacks. You got like your ninpo skills that you can equip, like flame breath,
Sasuke, flame breath.
Like a Raijin attack where you can like dash with electricity. You got like a wind aerial attack you can do. You have like a water parry one, which is pretty sick too.
That one's fun.
And then you have like your ultimate scroll attack. That thing, like the screen wide animation with the flame dragon rising. I mean, I'm sure there's other ones, but that's the one you have at the beginning. And it's just like, it feels so good because like there are situations where you can get overwhelmed by just a lot of enemies, or you just need to get out of like, jail card. They have these like challenge sections you can get to. Like there's this demonic head that you hit, and these wave of elite soldiers will come out, and if you defeat all the levels versions of that, you get like an extra like item or amulet that you can equip, or an enhancement to one of your like abilities. So they're kind of worth it, but they are challenging. And one of them was like, I had just gotten like the grapple ability to grapple these things to launch myself into the air, and the arena was just like spikes below me and just a grapple thing, which I had to keep grappling. And those range filth and like flying enemies were everywhere.
So
I was like,
brutal.
What is this crap? Thankfully, it was very short, but like you couldn't, because you have to land to use it. I think you have to land. I couldn't touch the ground to use the ultimate attack, so I was like, it's like I gotta really like but you can swap all that stuff out.
Yeah.
You can change what button you map the ninpo skills to. You can change like your passive ability. You can change like your your combo ability. And then there's like clearly like new weapons, because there's a slot for your katana that you could change at some point. I just haven't gotten it yet. And there's a shop system with an economy.
Yeah, really good.
And collectibles that you use to unlock more items at the shop. Yeah, new outfits. So
there's a lot to discover. Yeah, Dami, and you alluded to replaying the levels when you earn new abilities, and not only that, there was one of the bonus stages I really struggled on, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna come back to this when I have like more max health. Like I'm getting rocked here. I'll come back to it. So I think the balance of the normal difficulty and just like how friendly the checkpoints are and how it's level based, I think it's a really friendly and finely tuned game, while also not compromising, like pushing back. It pushes back on you a little bit.
Yeah, and then the footage for the viewers right now, they're seeing there's like these sequences in the game. Some of them are just like a transition stage. Some are in the stages themselves, where it's kind of like a frantic display of like you got to like do your platforming while something is chasing you. And in this instance, like a giant helicopter with a giant blowtorch. Like one hit, you're done. You got to go back to the checkpoint, and it's like it's firing giant missiles at me, and like intense. They blow up shit, and like it's obscuring your view, and it's like, oh god, like it just like it's perfectly encapsulate that like that anxiety of like, am I doing this right? Am I gonna make it? And at the end, you think at the end, and they're like, oh, guess what? We're going vertical now.
Yeah.
Like the flames are rising from below. And I was like, oh my! Or like I like launched myself the wrong way once, and I'm panicking. No. I'm like, no, go the other way, please. Dude, I don't want to.
Damiani, I swear to you, when I did that part, when I was done, my hands were dripping sweat. Drip. I was like, I made it. The levels are pretty long as well.
Yeah.
Which initially, I was like, yo, these levels are long. Like, I'm getting fatigued almost by how long these levels are. You know, you can spend easy like 30 to 45 minutes plus on one single level. But I ended up really appreciating that because, again, the exploration is just so rewarding and nice. And I think if the levels were shorter, that would cut down on what you could discover, because there's a lot of hidden things. Like Damiani was saying about the optional challenge fights, the optional medallions you find to unlock more things in the shop. There's a legendary sword you can get by going into like these optional rifts.
Yeah, the rifts, those things. Yeah,
So
like, I really like them, and
a lot to discover.
It made it sound like the bosses maybe are easy. They're not. Like I feel like I was just like firing on all cylinders on a lot of them because I was just like in the zone of like identifying their patterns. But like one of the ones in the same area that this footage is from, the demon dude who like you fight, who like summons more like blood swords, that like he summoned them like at the perfect time, because it was like I gotta launch myself up and attack him, but every time I did it, he'd summon the sword to like knock me back down like at the right time. Like the
Demon
game just
dude is
knew
the right
developers
word.
knew
Demon dude,
how to do that.
And Demon Dude like regens health. I was like, how dare you? Yeah.
And then it was like the death fight in Castlevania with some of the scythes and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, I hate this crap, but like it's so fun. And then like it does like, spinning like laser beams, blood lasers, I guess, and it's like it's just chaotic, but it also felt very fair. Like I had enough time to react. It was like, just don't panic and do something stupid. Just be methodical, be slow. And I think that's this game. It wants you to feel, like you said, like a badass ninja and be like fast paced. But there are moments where it's like, if you just slow down a bit and be a little bit more methodical because of the toolkit they gave you, you can also feel that same feeling, but feel like, not the necessary need to rush. And it's like, I overcame this by being, a little bit slower. Patient. So I didn't look as badass, but it's like, I feel like a badass because like, you were expecting me to like just, like the shield guys, especially like when they have like the armor, you can't break their armor yet. So like their attacks just go through everything. So like, you gotta be patient. And like what are the dark attacks that are like undodgeable?
Yeah.
Like every game does those now. Like,
for sure.
You gotta like wait and, see and observe. And I like that these boss fights initially are like, hang back, observe first, and then you can go in and like the one that we're showing right here, like first attempt, because I like ended up being patient and it was like, let's watch what he does at certain points. I really appreciate a game that does that, because too many games do like the trial and error thing where it's like you have to die or you're supposed to die because like you didn't see like the next mechanic or the next trick the boss is gonna do. So yeah, I guess I understand it's difficult to balance that, but this felt like it was getting it right on normal difficulty. Although, in retrospect, I do still agree. I probably should have cranked it up like one more difficulty. I feel like
for sure. Can always go back.
Is this the one with the lady on the motorcycle? This game? Or was that a different one?
I think that's Ninja
Gaiden.
Yeah, it is 100% Ninja Gaiden Rage
You're a
Run.
student in Ninja Gaiden, but they don't ride a
100%.
motorcycle. You have like you ride the wolf. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, okay. This looks sick.
It's so good. I think obviously the visuals are so striking that catches everyone.
Yeah, no, there's like such like just really high popping colors in that first clip we were seeing.
Yeah, but just like Streets of Rage 4, just how it controls. I mean, this is one of the best feeling games of the year. We were talking about that with Sword of the Sea, just how good it feels to glide on the sand. This is the same thing where it just feels so awesome, like dodging over people and just connecting your combos and just platforming in general, and just that fusion, that I don't take that fusion for granted of like, wow, it feels as good to fight people as well as move through the environment. Like they both feel amazing. Like I get excited for a combat encounter and I get excited for a platforming section as well.
Such a specialized skill for a development team to tune that. It's one of those that it's half the game. I mean, it's like the art and all the rest of that stuff is in a sense comparatively straightforward. Obviously, it's not that doesn't make it easy, but it's like coming up with a great vision and all that was all one thing, but just all those millions of little variables you tweak where you're like, how high do they jump? What's the reaction time? Where are we cheating things in order for the player to get the maximum dopamine hit, you know, like cause
dopamine hits.
Yeah, I have such admiration for the studios that really nail that. It's so hard to do these very, very heavily mechanics driven games. It's just it's a real art.
When Damiani was describing that part with the spike floor or whatever, you have to stay airborne. That reminded me of Bo, Path of the Teal Lotus. Remember, you didn't get that far in it one of these days.
But sure.
But that's another good feeling game.
Yeah, I just really respect the level design as well. That, I think by the end of the game, I think that was the thing that surprised me the most, especially after just playing Ninja Gaiden. A little more straightforward in its levels. There are secrets, but
for sure.
Honestly, just the size of them and the ability to go back and discover more. Also, before we move on, I got a shout out. I mean, Goaty, Shenmue nod in this video game. Ryo Hazuki in the background of a level with a forklift. Let's go.
Amazing.
They have already announced DLC for this game. Old Sega bosses.
Right.
The first one that's announced is Dr. Robotnik.
Really?
Is coming to this game.
That's funny.
So now now like, dude, dreams, right? Freaking Shenmue and Streets of Rage. Let's get Mr. X, let's get Lon D. You know who I think they're actually going to add is Shiva Damiani. I think Shiva's going to be a boss from Streets of Rage. That's my my bet.
They probably will. Yeah, they will.
Yeah, not Mr. X, Shiva.
Dude, yeah, like what was it? The first time I saw like a Sega building in the game.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Not the intro, but like in the game, and a level was like, oh, here, like, and then I got to like that region of the world, but one of the stages where I was like, oh, when Heber probably like saw that, didn't they?
So
like
awesome.
Working the forklift.
So
and,
yeah, dude. So freaking Rio's in this game. It's the coolest nod ever. He's just in the background of Neon City. You see him just like driving the forklift by.
Yeah, I was like, I had to stop. I was like, wait a second. I was like, oh yeah.
So we'll probably
awesome.
Probably get some kind of RGG thing, right? Like Majima or something in there.
Yeah. Well, there's only 2 more. They said 3, and one of them's Robotnik, so there's only room for like 2 more, I think. So we'll see. We will see. Yeah, because I
think RGG is a shoe-in.
That'd be a great one. That'd be a great one. And I think probably Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
You know, if we're really thinking about it.
Yeah, makes sense.
I want Joe to be in the next Streets of Rage.
Dude, he will be.
As a bonus character.
He will be. If Lizard Cube makes Streets of Rage 5, then absolutely.
Yes.
So cool. Yes. Shinobi Art of Vengeance coming out tonight for everyone. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Maximum recommendation for a video game this year. No question. Alrighty. We've got more to come, but if you've been enjoying the show so far, please take a second to like, subscribe, ring that bell, do all that good stuff. Help us out on YouTube. Helps us and you stay connected. Also, if you want to sponsor this podcast and put your name right here in this space, get in touch. You can email us at info@easyallies.com. And we'll get you all the details. Also, is that YouTube thing still going, Blood?
Yeah, we have like another 2 weeks or so on that with the channel memberships. YouTube gave us this crazy promotion, Austin, where it's like they gave us $800 up front just to turn it on. And then for the first 100 people, they'll give us like another $8 for every subscriber. So, so you can you can force Google to give us money. So.
It's always good.
Really supportive of that.
Making Google do stuff.
You give us $5 and they give us $8.
Yeah.
Math of that works out.
Yep.
Austin, are you a Streets of Rage fan?
I was never big into them back in the day. I did. Streets of Rage 4 came out kind of like in that perfect pandemic window. You know, it was like I was trapped at home.
It came out during the pandemic. Yeah,
and it's like couch games I could play with my now wife. I guess we'll give it Streets of Rage credit for that.
Awesome.
No, but like all those kinds of games, it was like, MK11 coming out around that same time. And like just that was a kind of a game that I just tend to not go for. But when I'm, you're trapped at home with someone you love and you're looking for those kinds of experiences. So it kind of reawakened that, 10-year-old in me that would go to the arcade and play like the X-Men arcade game and that era. But no, there's plenty that I missed. I mean, I was a big Genesis fan back. I had a bunch, but it was never my main. I was always more of a PC gamer.
Yeah.
So it's it was a bit neglected. Like in that era, the heights of that era of all the titles you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was like over in the next lane doing Command and Conquer and Warcraft 1, 2, 3 and that sort of stuff.
Do you have an earliest favorite soundtrack from a game? Mine is Streets of Rage 2. That's why I bring it up.
Probably. I mean, obviously, growing up in the late '80s, the influence of the entire Mario franchise is inescapable. So that's probably the more technically correct one. But the one that I distinctly remember at 10 or 11 years old, working out on the piano, was the theme to Monkey Island. I'm a pretty diehard fan of the entire point-and-click adventure 90s LucasArts era.
Yeah.
Grim Fandango being the kind of apex predator of that whole lineage of games. But Monkey Island, I distinctly remember, literally at the piano. I hadn't even really started music yet, but I just could kind of work out by ear this like da na 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 na, and so that's one that I remember just being blown. And I would like share, and typical of that time, you'd share it with someone, and all they're hearing is kind of like the 8-bitness of it. They can't really hear through that, So they're like, sounds like shit. And I'm like, no, it's amazing. What are you talking about? You run into that same general time frame, playing like Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy like 4, 5, 6, 7, where you're just going, there's serious writing in these, and you're kind of shouting into the void about it to people because they're like, I don't really, I don't know. Don't hear it. It's a shame. Now people have started to obviously really
it was just so wild when I got a little bit older and I realized like during that period while we were obsessing over those soundtracks, it's like, oh, in Japan they were actually doing live concerts of Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy stuff.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
ActRaiser and it's like craziness.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, they were definitely ahead of the curve in essentially all ways.
All right, coming off of a Gamescom preview I didn't get to play this one. But
okay.
So just got to see. So this will be a little brief one, but I definitely wanted to give it a shout out. RetroSpace. This game heavily inspired by System Shock, as you can see, for sure. But yeah, RetroSpace is it's like they call it a disco punk space horror game, and
sure, why not?
Sure, disco. What do you call? What is even disco punk?
I just love that we can graft punk onto any.
Right. They totally do. Yeah.
Like, what is
That's
disco
my
punk?
inbox. Some kind of punk every other day.
Yeah.
What's your definition, I love disco punk?
Disco punk? I mean,
versus cyberpunk. What's the
now
difference?
it's probably influenced by Disco Elysium.
Sure.
I mean, because it's like they're both music genres, but like I'm not seeing a lot of disco in this necessarily.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to it, so who knows?
Yeah.
I would say that it's like relaxed but irreverent and like anti-establishment, maybe. Free loving.
Love that.
Free loving space monsters,
What are the other ones that you haven't done yet? Because we have to schedule a makeup. The Out of Time, they called that solar punk.
Solar punk?
Now, solar punk, I do know what that is.
Okay.
What is that?
Solar punk is the hopeful opposite of cyberpunk.
Right.
Oh.
Where, like, solar punk is like stuff like Terra Nil or things like the biological Mother Nature taking back technology. It's like a hopeful future kind of a genre.
Right.
Awesome.
Utopian as opposed to dystopian.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, we got
solar
diesel
punk is a thing.
Cool. Thank you.
I'm just like searching my
That's
inbox.
hilarious.
So basically, this space station you're on has been sucked up by a black hole, and you are, my favorite part of this game, you are a lowly janitor. You're not a soldier.
Yeah, like Dead Space. You were just like an engineer,
Engineer,
right?
yeah. This time you're a janitor. And
nice
one
job,
of your
Bob.
one of your main tools actually is a little spray bottle to clean things. And that's an important mechanic because you have to clean up corpses or else other enemies are going to smell it
Oh, okay.
and come to you. So there's a heavy mechanic.
You just can't stop working. You can't get a break. You're even in a fight or flight situation, you still got to clock in.
Totally.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Googling disco punk, people say stuff like LCD Sound System and The Faint and Le Tigre and Hot Chip are sort of that. Mm-hmm. Not exactly what I would call it, but that's what some people are saying. Like dance punk.
Yeah.
Post punk, but dancey.
Yeah.
But that's probably not what they mean for this game, so who knows?
I love cyberpunk. Super cool. Is Akira cyberpunk? Probably, right?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So immersive sim style, stealth or combat, whichever you see fit.
Okay.
I really appreciated how light works in this game. Light is a super important mechanic, not just because you can sneak around in the dark, but because some enemies, like the very disturbing Mothmen, so freaky looking, they can absorb light and heal up.
Oh,
so
okay.
So there's a lot of times where you just need to shoot out the lights. They're shooting at the lights, Isla.
The lights.
Yeah. So you have to shoot out the lights, and I just think that's like immersive sim stuff.
Yeah.
Blood. There's never enough. Give us all the immersive
First
sim.
time you shot out a light in a game.
We got a big blog post on Judas this week.
It honestly might be Deus Ex, Damiani, if you can,
All right.
in that maybe.
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah, Metal Gear. Sure.
What was your question on like the quintessential one?
First game you ever shot out a light bulb or a light. Yeah. It's hard to remember that. So yeah, there's
It had to be like
I see.
Blood or one of those early.
like Duke Nukem maybe.
Yeah,
Just a Windex bottle.
yeah.
I'm gonna change it to Duke Nukem 3D.
Right.
I definitely remember doing it in one of those early shooters.
Yeah,
Maybe, wait, you could do it in GoldenEye, couldn't
Yeah, I
you?
think-
absolutely.
Then GoldenEye was first. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
In chat, Frankie says they love the music of Abzu.
Sick.
Oh, that's very nice.
Hell yeah. So yeah, stealth or combat. There's only a handful of enemies, but each enemy is very defined, very unique from one another. So there's the Mothman that we were talking about that can use the lights to their advantage. There's also like this pigman freako that is one of the main ones that can smell the corpses. So you really got to clean that up, or they'll smell.
truffles.
Yeah, they'll smell it and find you. There's also a big time travel type element.
Oh, okay.
I guess it's time travel.
hole.
It's more of like a alt dimension type, but there's basically two versions. I think it just did it in the trailer actually.
Okay.
There's like one version of the space station that is I think it is time travel actually. It's way later because it's overgrown. There's bushes everywhere. Like it's way more just overtaken by nature. And then there's the other timeline as well. I don't know how much you can influence that.
Like medium, where you would toggle back and forth.
Yeah, that remains to be seen. It was hands off, so I didn't get to play it myself. It was just very brief. But honestly, I walked away really excited because they were just all the things they were saying were what I love about immersive sims. They were talking about their inspirations being Deus Ex and System Shock.
Nice.
So
Two of the greatest games ever made.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and I love the janitor element and the cleaning spray bottle and yeah, and the enemy design. You know, the Mothman actually looked really, really freaky and scary. So really, really looking forward to RetroSpace for sure. Definitely on my radar heavily. To be announced. So no release date yet. Could be next year. So we will see. And then next up, finally in 1.0, excited to hear Damiani's takes as well, because I know he played it when it originally launched into early access.
Yeah, they've done a lot of changes with this in the short amount of time, really.
Yeah, is Prince of Persia. What's the subtitle?
The Rogue Prince of Persia.
The Rogue Prince of
That's
Persia.
it.
I'm sorry.
Rogue,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Yes. Of course, we got the Lost Crown last year.
Yep.
Now we have the Rogue Prince of Persia. I mean, wow, this franchise quietly releasing quality. I mean, the Lost Crown, Damiani, we can't gush enough how it was one of our favorite games last year, for sure. And then now I'm just a few hours in, but oh, am I getting addicted to this game. It'll be the next game I stream, chat. Stay tuned. But it is a roguelite, of course, and it's from the creators of Dead Cells, one of the better Metroidvania type roguelites that have come out in recent years. And the big thing about it, of course, like any Prince of Persia game, is the movement. You can run on the walls, you can clamber up walls and use little sticks that are sticking out or whatever, and you can jump on those.
Poles, yeah.
Little lever, poles. And you have a little meter, if you look on the top left of the screen, if you're watching, that yellow meter, that goes up when you perform speedy mechanics, basically. So it is a little bit of a timing.
Was that there before?
I'm not sure, Damiani. I didn't play early access.
That.
Yeah, because if you jump off ledges at the right time, that'll boost that significantly. So you can get
that was there at the beginning.
Wow, Damiani, that's one of the core mechanics.
Just it's been so long. It's been a long time, but but I don't remember that.
Yeah, that'll increase your movement and attack speed, and just getting that up is really, really fun because, you'll get in these rhythms where you're just bouncing through platforming sections like boom, 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 and it's extremely satisfying. Another one of the coolest things about this for me is, I forget the exact name. It's called like the mind map. So the mind map,
like a mind palace or like what?
Oh, kind of. Definitely not Hannibal vibes. What do they call it? The mind.
I was thinking of the Don't Nod game, but yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they use it in Sherlock a lot.
Yeah. So you basically find clues as you're going through these environments, and it'll fill out this big mind map thing that'll be like, oh, in this area, somebody was kidnapped. Find the clues about who was kidnapped.
Okay.
So you have all of these little sub-objectives within your classic roguelite style game where it's just like, hey, get to the end. So many roguelites are like, get through the levels if you can. You're probably going to die a bunch. You're going to get permanent upgrades, and you're going to get further and further each time you die and repeat. But
I love that they brought back the little fountains that you drink out of from Sands of Time.
Yes, Blood, absolutely. There's a lot of risk and reward in this game. You can break some of the fountains that have your XP because you have to bank it, because if you die, it's gone forever.
Right.
But so you can either like deposit it in a fountain, or you can just break the fountain and get a bunch more, but then you have to wait till you find another one to deposit it. So after you die, you go back to.
Cool. That's a good.
It's super good.
That's a nice stressful mechanic.
It's so stressful because sometimes I'll have
Shovel Knight.
sometimes I'll have totally breaking the lanterns. Blood. I didn't even think of that, dude. Yes. There's also a kick mechanic. Some enemies like the one seeing here will have armor.
Yeah.
And you can kick like rocks or even other enemies into them, and it'll immediately break their shield, which is really important.
Yeah, which is also why you've got all these spikes around, because you kick guys into the spikes.
Yeah. So just all in all, it feels amazing. Of course, I'm all about pedigree of games. They made Dead Cells. If you haven't played that, wow.
Well, not only did they make
next
Dead
level.
Cells, but like they supported that
For
game with
years.
new stuff forever. Yeah.
The Castlevania DLC, of course, that I still have never played. So I think as a roguelite, it is absolutely top tier, because even though, some people's criticism of roguelites are like, well, I don't like that I'm not really able to beat it on purpose and that I need to keep repeating it to get the permanent upgrades to have a chance. I think they've done a really nice job countering that with the sub-objectives of the mind map. Because each time you're going through, you're learning new clues, and it's like, oh, I learned about something in a zone that I've already passed. So now next time I'm going to go back and I'm going to check that zone for that thing. So it's just adding a little more agency of what you're doing in each of these zones. And I'm just really enjoying my time with it. It's so much fun. So
Do you have a sense of how long this game is? Do you know what the scale of it?
It seems like it's actually on the shorter side. because when you beat a level, you kind of see how many you have to go.
Right.
And
Okay.
right out of the gate, I've gotten through like half of
10
it.
hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna guess
yeah.
it's like
Oh,
a
okay.
10-hour. Yeah,
That's
If
sort of the
you-
sweet spot.
Yeah.
yeah. So probably 10 with room to play a lot more, just constantly upgrading.
Right. Just
There's
kind
also
of core loop sort of.
yeah. There's also so you get these little purple things to buy permanent upgrades. You also just level up, and that's permanent. Which I thought was really interesting.
okay.
You don't level up each run. You just have a permanent level in XP, and then you can use those skill points to unlock other abilities. You know, more health, or start a run with gold, or an ability to come back to life after you die. So, just super fun, Damiani. Do you think you're gonna hop back into 1.0?
So that was the thing with it. Like I'm glad there's still more Prince of Persia continuing, and I'm glad that Ubisoft allowed the team to keep supporting this game.
I know,
and
this
hopefully
and
can
Lost
continue to support
Crown,
it.
dude. It's
Because
amazing.
what happened, with the Lost Crown, it was like unfortunate, but the team was reassigned to other parts of the company, so there doesn't seem like there's gonna be a follow up to that one. But like pure Metroidvania exploration style games kind of are more. I like what I saw in the Lost Crown was like excellent.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
this was very good, but I just like the Lost Crown more.
For sure.
And I was like, yeah, this is great. And I hope people who didn't maybe like the Lost Crown and are more into like a roguelike style of game where they're like, I want, this is what I'm used to in terms of progression, and I'd rather do this.
Yeah.
And then like functionally, as you said, like it plays very well.
So well.
And that was even back then. Like I thought, like I was like, yeah, the movement feels pretty good. The combat feels good. The different like weapons you could like change out, and like the perk stuff or the boons or whatever.
Yeah,
that you,
so
I got like
different.
that
Yeah.
grappling hook the other night.
Grappling
when we were
hook,
playing on
Yeah.
bow and arrow.
Yeah, it has a lot of variety in that, in terms of like you have a unique playthrough, a unique experience each time you play through, where it's just like where do you want to go explore in the Lost Crown is like largely going to dictate if you have like any variance in that. But yeah, I've already like there are other really good roguelites out there that
sure.
I was like I've had that fix, and it's like this is why I probably will not jump back into it, because I still got to finish Shinobi, and we have like a million other games coming out
sure.
that I want to like play. And I already played this,
So
and I was like, it's good. I would tell people like I need another roguelike to play, and I was like, well, give this a chance, because these Prince of Persia smaller projects are ending up being really good.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we're waiting for to the end of time for the remake
Yeah.
with
Sands of
it's like,
Time.
if this is how Prince of Persia keeps going on, then like that's great.
Yeah.
I would absolutely just want it to keep existing, and this game series to keep being supported by some kind of development studio, because these games have been some of the best. And there's the series is very rich.
Well, hopefully after they did such a great job with Karateka, Chris Kohler and the team at Digital Eclipse will get to do a similar treatment with Jordan Mechner for Prince of Persia, the originals.
That would be nice.
Do that, please.
What's so cool here that I'm watching and realizing that I hadn't known about this game? Is it's so interesting how small a detail this is, but putting a wall running on the background walls.
Yep.
Yes.
I can't think of. Surely they didn't invent that, but I was sitting here going, have I seen that in other
It's so cool.
sort of platforming 2D kind of games where you actually involve a whole other axis basically that's usually completely ignored?
Yeah.
Because I watched it and I was going, did I just see what I thought I saw? And yeah, that's funny. It's funny how that's such a small little detail, but I mean, can you think of any other games that leveraged?
I haven't played Dead Cells today.
Dead Cells doesn't do that.
No.
No, I played the absolute hell out of Dead Cells.
Yeah, Dead Cells.
I can't think of any that does that.
Yeah, the movement is just
I don't.
so
Yeah, I don't
cool.
pretend to.
Yeah, the closest thing, it's not wall running, but like climbing fences, like in Super Mario World, the Bowser's Castle thing.
Sure, right.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not this. Yeah, that's not
That's
the same.
similar though.
Similar.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's,
Great call, Damian. Yeah.
I definitely think I've seen some where you roll run across, but not quite like this, where you just do it like at any point.
It's cool because it makes you realize how much they're incorporating the art of the level design, knowing that that's the case, because there's a lot of areas where there's windows and stuff that show the background, which obviously you wouldn't be able to do that on. So it influences the platforming. Now has this whole other thing going, this whole other surface to contend with. You know?
Yeah.
Which I was like,
Yeah.
that's very. It's amazing how 2D platforming game, one of the most trodden territory for game developers, and here we are almost 40 years into that, and people are still thinking of interesting ways to use it, to play with it. It's very, very cool.
Heck yeah. Yeah, and a lot of Metroidvania elements in this one too, Damiani. The environments are pretty big, big that they give you multiple fast travel points within each biome, which I think is really cool. You can like find the exit, or you can backtrack and like discover a lot more bonuses and stuff.
I think General Baruda the Unstoppable was misnamed.
Yeah, correct. But yeah, Rogue Prince of Persia. It's on one of the PS Plus tiers, one of the higher ones, if you have that. And then I think it's $30 regularly. So
Oh, okay.
check it out.
Nice.
Real good game. I'm gonna try to stream it this week.
Wait, Austin, are you wearing an Expanse hat?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
My MCR in...
Beltalowda!
yeah, well,
No, he's
I'm clearly
Mars.
Martian, yeah. But
That's Mars.
Bobby hype.
yeah, exactly.
Dude, I'm
Bobby
so hyped
Draper,
on that new
dude.
game coming out.
Oh, God, I know.
am so pumped.
Me too. No, I spent as soon as they announced that, I was like on Twitter, DMing everyone I could figure out who was involved with that game to just be like, I just need you to know I am obsessed already.
Yes.
And very, very stoked because that like I have a very singular obsession with both. It's like this one is the fusion. It's the love child of basically my two favorite things in the world, which is The Expanse and Mass Effect.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And so I'm very excited.
I can't wait for that game. I saw some like new stuff today. Actually, they were posting
Well
about
clocked on the.
Yeah,
I was like, MCRN. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Have you read the books too, or just seen the
So
show?
I watched the show, I think 3 or 4 times,
Hell yeah.
and
Yup.
then
We got a fan.
Oh yeah.
I am 1 hour and 54 minutes left of book 3.
Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck
So
yeah.
I'm plowing my way through the book because I was just like, I need more, and I went.
Right.
And honestly, I could completely hijack your entire show here, just unpacking how amazing. It's the most incredible case study of smart choices in what to deviate from book to show.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really faithful. The show is amazingly faithful, and the areas where it's not, you go, that was really smart. That was really
the changes they make, like Drummer is like 4 different characters kind of put into one, and like because I've read all the books, and like I had that same feeling where I was like, yeah, no, that makes sense. That change makes sense. It's almost a bummer the show ended where it was because some of my favorite stuff is in like the last 2 books.
That's why I started reading them because I had such. Amazingly, the end of the series has never been spoiled for me, and I was like, had such withdrawal from running out of the show.
Right.
Yeah.
That I was like,
same.
okay, I gotta read the books, but yeah, it's
So depressing.
It's so it's really.
Give me more.
It's just so good. It's just
the show goes through like book 6, I think. So there's like 3 more after, and it's great.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, you're in for.
I'm intentionally kind of going slow because then when that's done, basically all the pressure then lands on the game to satisfy my constant need for more, and it's better for everyone. It's just like. Gently move through. Like I keep doing one book and then I'll go do 2 or 3 other unrelated books in between just to space it out. Otherwise,
I did the same thing. I took my time with it. I didn't do any of the. There are like little interstitial books between every big book. I didn't do any of those, but yeah.
I did back the recent Kickstarter for an Amos-centric graphic novel in which Wes Chatham is one of the writers.
Fun.
I was like
Obsessed with him.
I hadn't backed anything on Kickstarter in quite some time. I sort of forgot it existed, and then was just like
Amos, let's go.
emptying my wallet into this graphic novel. I was like, I don't even know what this is, but it's The Expanse.
They confirmed that the game takes place during season 1 of the show.
Yeah. So
okay.
And
sort of runs parallel.
And that some of the cast members will be in the game.
Oh my
Their
God.
likeness and voice silent.
Oh my
nice.
God!
Yes.
Well,
They-
yeah, because the other game was a prequel, right? It was like drummer
Right.
bopping
Yep.
around before
Right, the Telltale game.
the
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
God,
yeah.
I hope this game is good. Dude.
I know.
Please be good.
Please be good.
It certainly looks good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks good.
It certainly looks like they've gone all out.
And I mean, shit, like, no shade on anybody, but like a good Mass Effect.
Yep.
Would,
It's
would
time.
be nice.
It's time.
Oh, you're telling me.
All right, Blood.
Anyway.
It is time for one of my favorite segments, the July Sales Report.
Yes, from Matt Piscatella of Circana. Again, these are the U.S. charts ranked by dollar sales.
July.
Damiani's psyched because we're getting
Oh, we're in
still-
Switch 2.
Switch 2 updates.
Yes.
Yeah. So total spending grew 5% compared to a year ago to $5.1 billion
Billion.
for the
Thanks,
month.
Nintendo.
Yep.
Year to date, 2025 is now 1% behind 2024. So
Okay.
we'll probably catch up next month.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Hardware spending grew 21%
New console.
compared to last year. Mm-hmm. This is the highest hardware spending in a July month since July 2008.
Wow.
So,
Interesting.
but
What
it's
happened
usually
in
because
2008?
Yeah.
consoles come out like later in the year.
Got it.
So them being early, kind of changes where that comparison point is. Switch 2 has now surpassed 2 million units in the U.S. It is currently 75% ahead of the unit sales pace set by the original Switch.
Wow.
75.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
75.
Yeah, it's almost twice as fast, basically. Yeah.
Whoa.
I was in San Francisco that just by chance, I think the first day it was out, and they have a Nintendo store.
Yeah, they just put that in there, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know that was there, and I just came walking around the corner, and I saw this huge line
Oh my
stretching
gosh.
multiple blocks. And I was like, what is this for? And then I get to the end, I see it's in the Nintendo store, and I went, today must have been the day. And I go to my phone, I was like, oh man, wow, okay, this one's clearly gonna be landing. And yeah, sure enough, although even that number is higher than I would have guessed.
Yeah,
75%.
that's
Yeah,
wild.
as he's pointed out last month, though, it's like a lot of it just comes down to the fact that like they could supply that many.
Sure.
So it's like if they put out a couple more million, they might have sold a couple more.
Yeah,
It's like
fair.
yeah, because what the Switch 1 now, Damiani, is like what 140 something million. What is the number right there?
Oh, it's in the 50s.
Okay.
It's almost there. It's like 154, I think, or 152.
Got it.
I forget what the last one was, but it's closing in.
Yeah.
Closing in that 160 million it has to hit now.
Yeah.
Remember, it got revised. PS2 got revised.
Yeah,
to
they were
160
scared. They were
million.
scared, Damiani. They boosted it.
Yeah, it was when Jim Ryan retired, right? It was like, oh, by the way, this
Yeah,
dude's
like
sold more than you guys know. But Switch 2 Pro Controller is now the year's best-selling accessory in both units and dollars. July dollar sales of PS5 hardware fell 47%.
Hefty.
Yeah, compared to
Clearing
last
the
year.
wallet for all those switches, I guess.
Yeah.
Xbox Series spending dropped 69%.
Oof.
And the original Switch dropped 52%.
Got it.
I was trying to figure out why July 2008 was so big.
PS3?
Well, the Wii, the PS3, and the 360 were all already out.
Right.
But Mario Kart Wii came out in April of 2008.
Okay.
So maybe that was just kind of a knock-on effect of that.
The
Got
Mario
it.
Kart bump.
Interesting.
Like I don't know, it's hard to exactly pinpoint why 2008 was.
Also, GTA 4 was
July.
2008.
Oh, that might have done it. Let's see, when did that come out?
But not July. That was
This
earlier.
sounds like
April. That
this
came out
sounds
in
like-
April as well.
April, yeah.
sounds like insider trading of a bunch of people buying them just ahead of the giant stock market crash.
Yeah, right.
Going, what's financial cataclysm? I should get some hardware.
MGS4 was also June of 2008. So I don't know, just a
Okay.
solid.
Yeah. Maybe the
period of time.
PS3 might have been
Interesting.
getting bumped up there. Year-to-date spending on non-mobile video game subscription services, basically Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, is now 19% higher than a year ago at $3.6 billion. I'm
Wow.
gonna give all the credit to them jacking up those prices
Seriously.
They are just so much more expensive now. I'm just like, $80 for essential.
Right.
Essential.
I mean, when you talk to people that run game studios, that's I would suspect that's seen as a very positive trend line, because it's like by effectively creating a floodgate in which to, it's like Netflix, where you just suddenly now you've 10,000 games on offer. It becomes seemingly quite unsustainable. Like, a studio can't survive solely off of whatever they would get from a Game Pass,
for sure,
deal. In the same way that most unless Netflix is literally making the movie, they can't. You couldn't just keep selling movies to Netflix. Like, it would never pay enough, because the numbers don't work. So it always seemed like, again, I'm not saying this drawing on anything other than as an observer, but it always seemed like the goal was to just get the base level subscriptions as high as humanly possible in a kind of arms race, in a very drug dealer kind of way of get you into it, and then start to bring up the prices in a way that actually make it sort of sustainable as a business model, and people decide if they want to keep up with that or not. Because I know a lot of developers that it's a bit of a painful relationship, because they're like constantly going, well, we get eyeballs, but not necessarily like our bills paid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then you get the, where the sort of like the lack of investment means that somebody like will get into a game, if it's not grabbing them like 100% in the first hour, they're like, well, they bounce and then they never play it again. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, who could blame them?
Yeah.
Because
they can just jump to another game.
Absolutely. No, it's interesting. I mean, it's very good for the consumer in a way. Like, I do think it's never been a better time to be a gamer in terms of just return on dollar by dollar investment.
Everything.
So it's definitely great. It's definitely great to be a player, but it's interesting how those two are a little bit in conflict right now still.
With this, my essential comment though, it's like the fact that like it's also linked to the things that you kind of need, like cloud saves and online multiplayer. It's like, this is true. This is the starting point. Is this ridiculous price?
Right. Yeah. I seem to remember my wife talking about.
There should be like a tier that, like, okay, I can't afford the catalog right now. Just give me the basics to play my games with. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Something that would be more accurately labeled essential.
Right.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
On the mobile side of things, quote, perhaps most shocking was the arrival of Free Fire at number 6, according to Sensor Tower's charts. Sam One, I'm not sure how to say his name. It now sits comfortably above Call of Duty Mobile as the top shooter by U.S. consumer spend. Free Fire is currently running a collaboration with S-tier anime IP Naruto Shippuden.
You got Huber in.
This on mobile, you said?
Yep, that's the mobile
Can you just download this game?
That's Free Fire.
Okay. All right.
For those
it's happening
gotcha
right
polls.
in front of us.
Okay. I'm going to download this tonight, dude.
Yeah, and now the top 20, which now Huber's sitting right next to me, so it's a little harder to keep it secret. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new ones. If you guys want to try to guess what got in there for July, new games.
Yo, Kakashi's in this, dude.
Oh shit!
What?
Kakashi? Is Gara in it?
I don't see Gara.
For games.
Yeah.
Where's Donkey Kong?
Donkey Kong is 3rd place, keeping in mind that is only physical. So.
All right.
And also
pretty
keeping
good.
in mind, once you know what
Kong.
these other games are, that's why it's going to get outsold, yeah.
Death Stranding 2.
Nope.
Oh yeah, where's Death Stranding 2?
Oh wait, it was already on
That's
there
not
from
new
before.
though.
Yeah, it's
that
not
was
new.
2 months ago.
Yeah,
sorry.
it's at 12th place down from 2nd.
Okay.
All right, that's not too
What
bad.
month is
I
this?
thought it might
July?
drop off the list, but that's fine.
What was that?
July feels like 1,000 years
I know, it's
ago.
1,000 years ago.
What are we in right now?
This is August.
September
Is
is
that the one
close.
after
Somehow
July?
August is over.
What else came out in July?
We got there's 3 on here that are sports.
Madden.
Sports.
Madden, baseball,
Madden.
basketball,
Why?
soccer, racing.
Because no, Madden's
Not
2K
Madden.
blank. FES
it-
blank.
was it college sports?
Yes,
College.
college football is
that
number
came out in
1,
July?
Oh yeah, people were gaga for that.
and
I
number
thought that was
2
this
is the
month.
bundle where you get both college football and Madden.
Oh,
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and
that
then
doesn't count.
You said those are the 2 sports ones.
well, those are 2 of the 3 sports ones, but also
There's another one?
with the for the 2025 year-to-date period, EA Sports College Football
There's a
debuted
Destiny
as the
mobile?
number 3 best-selling title of the year.
Whoa.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, the last
Crazy.
one was huge too.
And the
so-
MVP bundle is 12th place for the year.
Did you say these are tracking? Did you say physical sales? What was the thing you said about Donkey Kong?
Oh, so Nintendo does not share their digital sales in these reports.
Oh, I see.
So when we do get a Nintendo financial report every quarter, we'll get the full number. But when we get the
Got it.
NPD,
Got
the
it.
Circana
So you're
numbers,
saying it's number 3
without counting
solely?
digital.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like probably number 1 by a mile. Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
not.
I mean, college football being that high, probably not.
yeah,
But
it's true. Yeah.
Blood, taking a shot. Ready or not?
no.
Okay, that game was getting hyped for a sec.
Yeah. So the other one is a sports game
Tony
that
Hawk.
you might not think of a sports game.
Tony
There it is.
Hawk.
Was that July? Then yeah,
Tony
that's in
Hawk.
there.
4th place for Tony Hawk.
Nice. That's good.
Yo.
That's a good win.
And
That's
the other
really
game is
good.
early access.
Power
so it's
of music.
pretty,
Hades 2.
Early access.
pretty
Early
surprising.
access.
WWE.
What?
No, it's actually
games
early
is-
access.
No, but
not-
is WWE on the list?
Sure, but it didn't come out in July. Let's see, 13th.
13th.
Oh, Grounded 2?
Yep. There you
Grounded.
go. Grounded 2 is in
Yeah.
8th place.
Oh, hell
Not
yeah.
so bad. I forgot about that.
Pretty.
Hubert Chat
All
wants
right.
me to let you know that Destiny Rising also came out on phone.
Yeah, that just came out.
Is Naruto in that?
All right.
Yeah.
Wait, for real?
Naruto's in
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
now.
Naruto's in there. They got.
Is this a bit? Are you serious?
They got Dragon Ball Z in there.
Okay, all right.
All right, blood.
Kanegai's in there, dude.
Where is Mario Kart?
The
Brundlefly.
Major's in there. Brundlefly, dude. The boss.
In the Mario count.
We've got no Mario Kart.
Ninja Gaiden.
What? Mario
do you mean
Kart
no
is
Mario
not on
Kart?
there?
There's no Mario,
Mario Kart World?
No.
What are you
It's not on
talking
there?
about?
What?
How's that possible?
How-
Get
I mean,
that.
how is it
Let's get
possible?
someone on the
I mean, it's
phone
a-
right now.
They're
What?
selling it in a
What?
bundle. What do you mean? How is it possible?
But not everyone got the bundle.
Oh,
Bundle
it's
fly.
yeah. You're right. They don't count that.
Right.
That's
so
some bullshit.
it's
dude.
number 1 though, but it just they didn't count the. Okay, so it's really number 1.
What about Ninja
Come on,
Gaiden?
still get Piscatel on the phone. We got to put like an asterisk on that, like, and say like real number 1, Mario Kart World.
It came out at the end of the month, but Ninja Gaiden
There's,
was right.
there's no Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden
There
is
is no
published by
Ninja.
Dotemu, right?
Yeah.
They might not be a reporting publisher.
Okay.
Not sure on that.
Oof. Love that game.
So I'm just gonna have to wait for Nintendo's quarterlies to just
Anything else you
See
want to
those-
see what's on there before I go through?
I think that's it, Blood. Honestly, I can't think of anything else that were
Wait,
heavy
where's your
hitters.
usual ones, Huber?
Like,
what's the one you always ask for?
Oh, Mario Party.
No,
The
no,
new one.
the other
no Mario
one.
Party.
No.
Nope.
Did you ask
GTA
about
5?
GTA 5.
GTA 5?
GTA 5 is at 10th.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Red Dead is at 9th.
Wait,
Minecraft.
Where's Minecraft?
Is that
Hey,
6th?
where's my?
Red Dead 2 is 9th?
Still.
Yeah.
Still.
That's insane.
You always just keep wondering who
Still hasn't
Who
bought it.
hasn't
Yeah.
Just
Fun.
kids
Still
who
buying that.
kids who keep turning 15 or something.
Right,
It's
right,
like,
right.
what the heck?
think how incredibly distorted all these numbers are going to be when 6 finally drop.
Oh
like when
my
you're talking about
god.
Yeah.
like
Highest of all time by far. It's going to shatter
I
everything.
mean, yeah, and it's all the it's going to be so fascinating to see the kind of the like gravitational lensing effect that it has on all these other stats. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
going to be very interesting.
Where's was it last month's number 1? Elden Ring.
Yep.
Oh,
Night Rain is at 16th.
Night Rain. Sorry. Yeah. Where's that?
16th place.
All right. Cool.
Still hanging in.
Still hanging in.
there.
Yep.
Mommy's little baby is hanging in.
Nice.
All right, here's our top 20. 20th, F1, 25.
Peak.
No.
Hey, that movie was
That's
good.
definitely
It
not
was.
going to be tracked.
I enjoyed the
on there.
movie.
F1?
Yeah, I enjoyed it, Huber.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Incredible.
19th is Spider-Man 2. 18th is...
That's right. Spider-Man keeps
Keeps
kicking,
staying.
yeah.
It keeps staying. Should after that budget. 18th is EA Sports FC 25. 17th, Split Fiction. Still hanging in there.
Hey,
Nice.
nice.
16th is Night Rain. 15th is NBA 2K25. 14th is Elden Ring.
Oh.
13th is WWE. 12th is Death Stranding. 11 is MLB The Show. 10th is GTA. 9th is Red Dead. 8th is Grounded. 7 is Forza Horizon 5. Still selling a lot on PS5.
Wow. Wow.
6 is Minecraft. 5 is Call of Duty. 4 is Tony Hawk. 3 is Donkey Kong. 2 is that EA bundle, and then 1 is college football. Grounded 2 is also number 1 on the PC charts.
Wild.
So
awesome. Do you still have
Death
USC
Stranding 2 was on
hype?
PC.
You
I forgot.
went to USC, right?
hype.
Didn't you go to USC?
I did go to USC.
Yeah.
That's so out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, we're talking about college football. You know,
Fair enough.
they are one of the best.
So all right.
My dad went to UCLA, so it's some rival here.
Well, you can win. My confession was that because I transferred into USC, I had started in New York, and so I never lived on campus. I never got any of that like college stuff. I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment in Los Feliz.
Yeah.
So, still to this day, sacrilege. Never been to a USC game, and I didn't go to my own graduation ceremony. I just didn't really care.
Funny. Yeah.
Although the regret of that was that Randy Newman gave our music school commencement address. I am pretty bummed I missed that.
Dang it!
I didn't know that until after, and I was like, damn it. But yeah, no. So I'm a useless. I'm a useless. Like I literally once was at the Sundance Film Festival and I was wearing a USC hat, and a guy who has since become a really good friend just passing on the street was like, "Fight on!" And I'm literally like, I don't know what that means. So yeah, I'm the worst.
Sure.
I'm a terrible Trojan.
Nice.
I went to a concert there once. I've only been to USC one time, but I went to my friend. She's in this group called Ensemble.
That's not true. We had a meetup there.
I've been there 3 times. But my friend was doing a show there, and I luckily I am chronically early for like concerts and movies and stuff because I was stuck in what turned out to be sports traffic just on USC campus for 1 full hour.
Oh, sports traffic is the worst.
Just trying to get to her concert. But they did the whole deer hoof thing, and it was really good, so it was worth going.
Nice. All right, Blood, thank you for the rundown on the games. Number 1 was...
College football.
College football, exactly.
College
Yes.
You know,
College
USC
football.
man, fight on.
Yeah. Fight on, bro. All right, Blood. Also this week, what is going on?
Yeah, this morning, 11-Bit announced that Hollow Knight composer Christopher Larkin is also the composer for Moonlighter 2. And they put out a teaser for the main theme there.
Nice.
I didn't even see that.
Moonlighter hype. Excited for that sequel.
Yeah. We had talked about it a couple weeks back, so.
Blood, this next
he would be into that one. Yep.
Blood, this next one, I'm not even kidding because there's so much going on. I forgot that this happened, and now I'm depressed all over again.
Right. Yeah. After the cancellation of Perfect Dark, Crystal Dynamics,
I forgot it was canceled. Frick.
who is co-developing the game with the initiative, has announced that they, too, are laying off an undisclosed number of staff due to, quote, evolving business conditions to ensure the long-term health of the studio. So, yeah, that's the thing. Xbox lays a bunch of people off. It just keeps having these knock-on effects, right? Like we saw it with the Romero games. We saw it with Virtuous, and now, it's hitting Crystal Dynamics as well.
It's horrible. Love Crystal Dynamics.
Pumping that money into the AI machine.
I'm critical of the Tomb Raider trilogy, but all in all, at the end of the day, I really like it.
Yeah.
You know? Damn.
On good side of that kind of news, Wizards of the Coast has hired 15 developers from Cliffhanger after EA canceled Black Panther to work on an all-new title.
Nice.
The team is led by Monolith Productions veteran Michael De Plater, who was director on Shadow of Mordor.
Nice.
So, not sure what they're doing. Wizards of the Coast might be a little dodgy, but we'll see. They're doing the thing with Stig as well, so I don't know. We'll see what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're going to have the Nemesis system in Magic.
All games are improved by
They
the
finally
Nemesis
licensed
system.
I cannot believe that we just didn't get more games with that, and we never got a third Lord of the
Because
Rings.
Warner
Allowed it to be
sucks.
licensed.
Yeah. Just tragic.
No Man's Sky is still dropping massive free updates.
How is this possible?
This week is the Voyagers update, which includes the Corvette ship class, the ability to assemble ships. I don't exactly know what that bullet point
That's
means.
cool.
Multiplayer crew,
Oh, cool.
mission radar, autopilot in space, spacewalks,
Yo, gravity.
Whoa.
new missions, starship interiors,
Oh,
new spacesuit, skydiving,
cool.
graphical improvements, which I think also they said carry over to the next game, the Light No Fire.
Oh, okay.
Which apparently is the size of Earth now, with like
they say it's a
oceans that are like you actually need
full
a ship
actual
to,
planet. Yeah.
like, oh my gosh.
Take you 6 months and you might die.
Varied cockpits and a new expedition.
Damn it! I'm gonna have to do my once every 3 years re-download No Man's Sky.
Yeah. Hop in.
And then
in.
before you get done catching up with this, still have another giant update.
Seriously.
Well, what always happens is I just kind of wander around, and then I remember that like playing the game actually requires like some amount of like
Investment.
Yeah.
and like remembering how everything works and stuff. So then I quit my Explorer one and go into my creative mode one, and then I just bop around my big weird base, and then I uninstall it. But I love that game.
That's fun, though.
I love that game.
Yeah, the check-ins are fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of check-ins, Huber,
Yeah, dude.
Darkest Dungeon 2 also just released a new free update. Curse of the Court.
Yeah, this is the third and final module.
Yeah, for
of-
Kingdoms.
Yeah.
Which introduces an all-new enemy faction called Bloodsuckers, a group of vampirically corrupted nobles, making their return after first premiering in the original
Big
Darkest
fan.
Dungeon.
Yeah, they were part of the DLC for the first game as
Yeah,
well.
the Crimson
yeah,
Court.
Yes.
So
hard.
Swarms of bloodsuckers have descended upon the kingdom, bringing with them a supernatural contagion that can inflict your heroes with the dreaded Crimson Curse. Players will be challenged in an all-new quest line to find a cure for this rapidly spreading infection and exterminate the bloodsuckers before time runs out. Additionally, this release features new achievements to earn 3 new kingdoms maps, each with a different layout that presents a unique set of challenges. And these new maps are playable on any of the 3 different modules.
Awesome. Yeah, I wonder if this is it now. If they're done. You know, they were like, hey, we're going to do 3 modules for this DLC, Kingdoms DLC. This is the third and final. It's like, all right, is that it? Or is there going to be like another surprise maybe down the line? Or
Yeah. I mean, is it for kingdoms? But maybe
Yeah.
there's something that's, mechanically a bit
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
Love the music in that game, Darkest Dungeon.
Just did a concert down in Australia a few weeks ago where we did some of the music from that game.
What?
Yeah, I'm I really, really obsessed over the first one.
Oh, I love it so
For some reason, I
much.
couldn't quite get into the second one to the same degree, but the first one was one of those games that just like it had its teeth in me
Yes.
for quite a while.
Same.
Sort of one of those, this is the best anxiety has ever felt.
Right?
And,
Well, that narrator, too.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, who tragically passed away. So sad.
Yeah, they're real good. Real
Yeah,
good.
I
But you're
love
hearing your description, I was like, man, I probably jumped ship to... I thought I beat the second one and then just felt content.
Yeah.
Whereas the first one was like, I'm going back in.
Yeah.
But I
like-
didn't know about any of these DLC. I somehow lost touch with it.
Yeah, because it was a direct response. This DLC was for the players that are obsessed with 1 but didn't necessarily like 2 as much. So it
so-
kind of has that
Got it.
town
Yeah.
building kind of
Interesting.
So it's kind of a hybrid of the 2 games. It's actually really awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that sounds like I know what's in my future.
Yeah, for sure.
More anxiety.
After the news of Hollow Knight Silksong's September 4th release date, several games have evacuated the area.
Clear out. Code Red. Get out of there.
I don't even think I have a complete list, but Baby Steps is now out on September 23rd. Clover Pit is now coming out 26th, and Demon's School moved all the way to November 19th. A few games like Hirogami and No I'm Not a Human took the opportunity to announce that they won't be moving their release dates. They just wanted to join in the fun.
Yeah.
Is
always
this the
funny.
one? Yeah, I feel like this is your wheelhouse.
What happened?
No, I'm Not a Human.
Yeah, it's a Critical Reflex
This
Freak Show
is
game. Yep.
you, Isla. You got to check this one out. Put it on your radar. Looks
Okay, I'll-
intense.
Yeah, that's,
I just started
the
up
third or
the
fourth.
Destiny phone game.
no, 15th. 15th for that one, sorry.
What are you talking about?
It's out on September 15th.
Oh. Yeah.
And then I said, like last podcast, some developers privately at Gamescom told me the same thing. I was like, oh, when's it coming out? They're like, well, Silksong's coming out now, so we're not quite sure. So yeah,
Right,
it's a real deal. It's a real thing. Yeah,
This has got like some freakazoid shit going on.
it
man.
looks crazy, Isla.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah, it looks.
This is really weird
disturbing.
because it It has some stuff that I quite like, and some stuff that's like an art style that I find really off-putting.
Repulsive.
Repulsive.
Yeah.
Very, very 90s stuff.
Yeah. It looks so messed
Yeah,
up.
this is I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream vibes for sure. Ick.
Yeah, big ick. Could be awesome.
Big ick. Compliment.
Yeah, I'm probably going to see it tomorrow
Nice.
at PAX. I have an appointment with Critical Reflex.
Awesome.
Wow.
Very cool.
So.
Let us know, Blood.
And then Acclaim. We reported a while back that Acclaim is coming back somehow. So basically it's a new publisher with an old name because most of those franchises are owned by other people now, like Mortal Kombat. But we're going to find out what the heck is going on with this company because they are doing a showcase on September 10th at 11:30 a.m. I think, so most of this trailer is just, showing old Acclaim games that they really have nothing to do with now. But I think at the very end, there's a shot that looks like maybe new games. So, I don't know. We'll find out.
What are the odds of Turok?
Slim, because there's already somebody else has Turok. Somebody's doing that
who is
Turok
it?
game.
It's Pillow Pig Games or something. It went to Disney Interactive in 2008.
Yeah, I remember
Universal
doing the Disney
Interactive in
about it.
2019, and then Pillow Pig. Yeah. One can hope.
Yeah, Pillow Pig. Saber Interactive has it now.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's at Sabers.
that's right. Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Aren't they rebooting it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that weird looking one that came and went. Haven't seen anything about it.
No, people saw it at Gamescom. I just don't remember the details.
People saw Turok at Gamescom?
Yeah.
We were at Gamescom.
Therefore, you are
fuck
not
you,
people.
dude.
What? I want to see Turok. I love Turok.
The 50 appointments you did blow over enough. You needed to make 51.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. No, I actually didn't have any kind of communication with Saber, unfortunately, because they had what else was there? Hellraiser. Hellraiser was there too.
Nice.
Yep.
Damn.
No,
They had 1,500 exhibitors at that show.
Yeah. No, it's funny because
Good
we
Lord.
had a Patreon question, which is about to come up, but we had a Patreon question last week about game previews and how I'm always like, I don't really need to preview any game because I have a million to play now.
Right.
But when I preview something, it's like I'm very curious about the quality of it. I'm very curious about the quality of this new Turok. Like, is it going to be a train wreck or is it going to be really good and awesome? No idea.
Right.
Coin flip. Which brings us to Love and Respect.
I'll do that sometimes.
Oh,
Get them right up in there.
holding it.
Love
and respect.
Respect.
I had to hold. Oh, he's going again. He's running it back. We got to run it back now.
I think you may need batteries.
Love and respect. Okay. All right. Sorry, Rufus.
With his
He goes.
foot-
yeah.
He goes through
foot
phases.
playing saxophones.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes it seems like he's about to die, and then he seems fine for 6 months.
He got some stage fright because you're here, Austin. You
Yeah.
know,
No,
he's got a lot to prove.
Yeah, clearly I'm a very harsh critic.
What was the last game you used a saxophone on?
Great question.
I wish I could tell you the most up-to-date answer to that. It is in fact not finished or announced.
Oh.
I'm trying to think.
Don't get in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Don't get in trouble.
I'm trying to think of the last they're very prominently tucked. This sounds like a contradiction. They're prominently tucked in to the orchestra on all three Banner Saga games.
Oh, okay, yeah, makes sense.
They're because it's like a college wind band kind
Yeah.
of ensemble. So there's saxophones in there, nasty baritone sax. Trying to think, Erica, prominently. If you ever played that game, the FMV
Yeah.
game.
Yes,
We did.
we
I
did
didn't
that,
know you
Isla.
did that one. I was just looking at that the other day again.
Yeah.
I love that game.
I loved working on it.
I really loved it.
Yeah, that
it
was fun.
It was cool. Yeah, so there's very kind of creepy, messed up, quasi noir sax on that score as well. But that was already 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm trying
that's
to think.
actually a while ago. But yeah, Isla loves FMV stuff.
I love
Oh well,
FMV
Stray
stuff.
Gods. There's sax
Oh,
all over
yeah.
that. Not
Yep, yep.
surprisingly.
Yep.
So there you go. That would be the best answer.
Nuts. All right, from TZP2 Game Night. Hey there, allies. I've been thinking a lot about a question from 2 weeks ago about aging and gaming. Something about aging and seeing it all before being the reason for lack of wonder and excitement in gaming strikes me as wrong. Though I definitely get being more tired. As someone who grew up in the NES era, I remember magazines and even demo discs allowing me to dream about games coming out in the future. To me, it seems that the media cycle and the number of games that are coming out makes it hard to build excitement for a game. While I hate waiting for games announced 5 years ago, sometimes having a dream can be powerful. Recently, I subscribed to Game Informer and Edge magazines to have something to read that was not internet articles about video games. I find myself more excited for games as a result because it doesn't feel like the conversation is outrunning me. Not only that, but the journalism found in print media is so different from the internet. And oh, it is so good. Shout out to PC Gamer all the time and Game Informer, of course. Yes. No clickbait articles or guides that say nothing. Mostly well thought out articles about gaming. I've been energized by this change back to print media. What are your thoughts? Do you truly think we're just getting old, or could it be something else leading to malaise in gaming? Thanks if you take my question, and stay easy, fellow allies. So just about basically a question about, age and games journalism.
Yeah, well, I think they're saying just like the flood of the news cycle keeps it. You don't have a chance to think about or anticipate things, right?
It's insane.
Except for those rare exceptions that become obsessive.
Yeah.
Like GTA 6.
Yeah.
Silksong. The things that like just seem to be like so far distant that they're never coming.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime 4.
I thought you said I tried crime. Instead of Metroid Prime. And I was like, wow, it finally happened. We got him.
You tried Crime 4.
I tried Crime 4. That's the hard shit.
But yeah, it's interesting what they're saying about the magazines because magazine you don't have the choice. Like if you try to be like, oh, we're gonna be on the hottest thing, like the hottest thing's gonna be gone before that issue gets to somebody's doorstep. So you gotta write about something a little bit different.
Yeah. I've been going through it lately with this whole Metal Gear Solid thing about the frame rates of Metal Gear Solid Delta. And it just made me, it was kind of the straw that broke the back or whatever. And it's like, just thinking about how, yes, absolutely, facts are facts and Digital Foundry is so correct about their analysis because it's like they did it and it is. Like, it's undeniable that like sometimes it hitches or whatever. But the internet gets so hyper-focused on that one exact thing that it becomes the narrative and it sucks up all the conversation and all the nuance and everything, and it just becomes, no, this is how it is, it's trash, this is how it is, this is how it is. Whereas I played through that whole game and I love frame rates. You've heard me talk about frame rates forever. Give me 60 frames. I played that whole game before it came out, and there was like 1 or 2 times where it hitched and I didn't even notice and it didn't impact anything. It's fine. Like, just, I don't want to say lighten up because that's reductive and just, but I feel like we are so tense.
Yeah.
We're so tense about
I
these viral narratives.
Yeah, I forgot to mention like Herdling on PC hitched on here and there. And I think that's just like one of those like PC things where like shader compilation stutter kind of nonsense. But yeah, I still had an emotional, run through that game this morning. So yeah, people just fixate. It's crazy. I miss the days of, I always think of my earliest Shenmue moment is reading the magazine in the line in a Ralph's, just picking it up off the shelf and looking at the veins in the person's hands and just reading about it. It was just a little more magical, But maybe that's us being old. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
I can definitely tell you, spending most of my days interacting with game developers, it is also baffling to me to see the level of fixation that you're talking about. Like, especially of all things like frame rates, where I go, I think the average person who makes a complaint about that can't possibly imagine how insanely sort of miraculous every game is. The fact that any of them ever work ever.
Crazy.
It's just the more you learn about the engineering of them, the more you realize they're all held together by duct tape because that's the only way to ship a game ever. They're just, it's not feasible otherwise. And So to then hold it to this completely ludicrous standard, like it's one thing if a game is truly just not finished,
For sure.
and like there have been plenty of games for a wide variety of reasons that just unfortunately kind of were forced out before they were quite ready, and they really don't. Like I remember playing, like so many others, I couldn't get a hold of a PS5 initially. They were so hard to get. And I had a bunch of friends at CD Projekt Red, and I was like, I refuse to wait on Cyberpunk, and I tried it on my PS4, and it was miserable.
That one was rough.
It was unplayable.
That was rough, yeah.
And I remember thinking, I can't be mad at them for that. This was clearly like sort of barely considered releasable on this console, and they went out of their way to sort of downplay, like, yeah, you probably should wait if you only have a PS4 or like a really, well set up PC. And so I felt bad for them because I'm like, they're going to take all this crap and people are not paying it. Yeah, thankfully it seems like that game really properly rebounded. Everyone
now it's
gave
beloved.
Yeah, they gave it another chance as it deserved. But yeah, I'm like, you guys, it's inevitable that you just it's not their responsibility to know more about how it's done, because it's our job to deliver the best possible experience, and if we don't deliver, that's ultimately on us. Like I'm not. It's sometimes there's like a little bit of a strain of a kind of anti-gamer sentiment I'll pick up in the industry sometimes, where there's like developers that get so frustrated reading all that constant complaining about stuff. Where I'm like, yeah, but bear in mind, how representative of that is of most gamers? Probably not even close.
Totally. Just the algorithms like promoting that, promoting the hate and the engagement, and it just all that negativity becomes the talking point, and that's really disheartening.
It is, and it's I think it's sort of on us to do our best to tune it out, and also to do the best job we possibly can. But it would be nice if that was slightly reciprocated from players out there who might otherwise, it's like, write the tweet, but then pause.
Right.
Just think for a minute, like
take a beat,
because I think people also underestimate the fact that members of the team, especially many who are not in major decision-making power positions, will read these things.
Definitely.
And it can really suck, to see someone talk about your work as if you didn't try everything, but just ran out of time, or the tech was still, not quite ready for prime time, or whether. Again, I never want to make excuses, but it's a challenge. It's tough. Every game is sort of a miracle that they work at all.
Yeah.
I just feel like I feel like we used to judge things slower, and now there are just snap immediate judgments.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, all right, this game's been out a day, and everyone has already made up their mind about it. It's just so fast.
I think so much of that comes from. I mean, like I talk about this all the time. Like I look forward to the studies on the impact of the internet and phones on the human brain, because like I think it's destroyed us. But like the speed and volume of life has been turned up. It feels like because of technology, and like the 24-hour news cycle didn't help, but like cell phones and the internet definitely didn't help. And like whether it's performative outrage or now like AI slop, just like everything is so minute to minute, second to second, and like half of it isn't even real anymore. Like I saw a video about a roller coaster the other day, and I was looking at the comments because it was sort of a weird roller coaster. Yeah. And I realized that every comment was AI. And it was just, they were just like talking to each other and like repeating each other.
Insane.
And I'm like, this video isn't even for anybody anymore. It's just the machines generating shit for the machines.
No. I heard about that with Spotify. Oh my God. That like Spotify is like this AI generated music, but then they also have like AI bots. So they're making music for their own
that like
bots.
AI
This
band
is the
or
essence
whatever.
of the dead internet hypothesis.
Fuck Suno, dude. Fuck all that.
That's why I just love playing games in the middle of the night. It feels like, you're hiding away. No one's judging anything.
I end up playing a lot of my stuff late at night, which was why Herdling was like such a struggle to like, I gotta play this. And it's middle of the day, I'm still getting emails and all that stuff.
Yeah.
No, the thing I want to say though is like, what's crazy is when you go to a TennoCon or the Liza P community event or whatever, it's like the people there that show up in person, pretty great most
So
of the
real.
time.
Oh my
It's
God,
so
yeah.
different.
Yeah.
I see that I did a lot of concerts, and it's always that way. You know, it's people are so excited and just bursting with positivity, and it's always really heartening to see. You know, it can be astounding how much games can I've been lucky to travel a lot. You know, just with I guess just the luck of things I've been able to work on and whatnot, and it's so amazing. We go to places in the world that are so far from home, and someone has really deeply internalized something that you worked on, and it's just astounding.
We had like 25, 30 people just at our little meetup,
Yeah, it was
in
awesome.
Germany, it's
Yeah. And you
crazy.
just talking to people in real life. Is
Yeah,
the way.
real people
It's
are
so much
great.
better. Yeah, real people.
Internet people are a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. Any takes, Damiani?
Back to the internet people. The next question.
Gaming
Stream.
journalism, Damiani. Any take?
These are real
This is
people.
about gaming journalism.
Our
Oh, sorry. I had to
our
step up
internet
to help
people are
the-
real people.
It's true.
I had to step aside for a second. The kitties, I had attended them, but sorry. The premise is about
It's all good.
online
worry
versus
about it.
offline journalism?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Do you read any magazines still, Damiani?
Not in a while, honestly. I used to love getting, gaming magazines. Like when Nintendo Power got discontinued, that was probably like
Heartbreak.
I realized like, oh man, it's just like Game Informer now. And then you know, that I was like, ugh.
For sure. All righty. Thank you for the question, TZP. Next up is Alexander Zirianov. So nice seeing you at the meetup. Hello, allies and Austin. Are there any differences between creating an interactive soundtrack which needs to play sections on a loop until the player triggers the next section, and an interactive soundtrack where the next section depends on players' choices, like in Stray Gods, the role-playing musical?
Well, that was addressed to all of us. So, do you want to start us off? Look, the question, the person asking clearly understands the kind of Pandora's box of starting to wrap your brain around interactive music because everything that you could think of is basically possible. Yes, we rely on loops a lot, and we rely on branching a lot, and those two often are intersecting with each other. And were they asking what's more difficult, or what are the differences?
Are
guess
there
it's just
any
the
differences
differences,
when you create those types of music?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, of course. How could there not be? Because they're fundamentally different formats. They're different listening experiences entirely. When you think about just the very concept of a loop is so novel. I always explain to people, for all of human history until the late 19th century, there was only two ways to hear music, which was be in the room with someone making music or make it yourself. So for the whole, back to Paleolithic times until, literally Mendelssohn, Brahms, Wagner, late 19th century, then we get the wax cylinder recorder, and suddenly now we have the ability to preserve a performance to be heard after the fact, and even in theory, remote from where it was done. But the real seismic change was then, shortly after that, the radio broadcast meant now our relationship with music changed permanently. It was a fully seismic event that said, now you can hear music essentially on demand, the early version of on demand, and from anywhere and recorded at any time. It could be something that's years old or brand new. And so our perception of even what music is was never the same. My contention is that the development of these things that tug at the string of the linearity of music, because obviously music is an art form that relies on the passage of time. You can't just freeze it the way you can stare at a painting, or you can, even pausing a movie gives you some vague sense of actual, stoppage. But music, it just kind of it goes away, it evaporates the moment you stop. So it's always bound to the passage of time. But by the introduction of loops and these other techniques, suddenly now it has the potential to be non-linear, which is a whole new concept. So for me, games have already begun the process of a complete reinvention of what music is in a manner that's at least as big, if not bigger, than when radios and the ability to record combined and forever changed what music is. So this question of like, how do you deal with branching? How do you deal with loops? It's like that's sort of the tip of the iceberg of just the whole thing sort of being thrown into a blender and something new coming out of it. Something where it's music that's sort of indeterminate, where it's, like I was saying before, something that I'm listening to and somehow also an author of at the same time. So I have no idea if that actually answers their nicely worded question, but they're very savvy to realize, you think in whole new ways. And when I meet young composers that are mostly kind of interested in film scoring or writing, operas or whatever kind of traditionally linear formats, and they say, "Can I get into games?" I say, "Well, do you play games much? You don't technically have to be a gamer to work in the industry. Like, no one's ever asked me in a kind of job interview way, like, what's your number one game in Steam and how many platinums do you have?" And like, no one technically cares. But I can't imagine having any understanding of this stuff if I didn't play games all the time and kind of engage with these systems just as a player. So I say, if your whole knowledge of music is sort of bands and records or film scores or what, this concept is going to be like learning a foreign language. And for some people, that's really natural. And for some people, that's a real uphill climb.
Yeah. Awesome. So fascinating.
I certainly like it. I'm the nerd for this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we love hearing all about it, dude. So cool. All right. Next up, Brandon K. Gann. Hello, everyone. I'm a major play, watch, listen fan, as it's one of my favorite podcasts. So with Mr. Wintory as part of this week's episode, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to ask both he and the allies. So far across 2025 in-games, what have been some of the most standout soundtracks and scores you've heard so far? Personally, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 from Louis Testard is my frontrunner.
Lorien. Did they write Louis?
Yeah.
They did write Louis.
Yeah, they did.
In defense of my new friend.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Austin. Is my frontrunner to pick up the Game Award for its phenomenal music. Thanks for taking this submission if you do. Always look forward to and watching PWL when it hits my YouTube feed. And stay easy, fellow allies.
Yeah. I jotted down some of mine. Promise Mascot Agency, which you finally started.
Oh my God, I started this game chat. It's amazing.
Good.
I'm obsessed with Promise Mascot Agency.
But yeah, just like some of those vocal tracks when you first get into town and you start hearing her sing and all that. It's just this.
I haven't played it.
It's like an 80s Japanese like lounge vibe. Like it's just so good. Yeah.
Wow.
Mario Kart. Just super amazing.
Nintendo's very reliable.
Yeah. Well, but it's like even them like drawing on like some things like Mario Paint songs.
Yeah.
And then like we're gonna do this with a live band now. It's like you just got the green light for how many thousands of dollars? But this obscure reference, amazing. And then South of Midnight is another big one for me. I really like everything he was doing with that. Again, like the songs telling a story as you go through the level and everything.
Yeah, I can't really improve on that list much. To me, Expedition 33 is one of those that it just seemingly no amount of hype is overhyping it. I just loved it so much. I loved everything about that game so much, and I was floored by the score. I recorded a podcast with Lorien and got to ask him all these interesting questions. It just was fascinating to hear how insanely green he was. They spent like 7 or 8 years working on it, so it's that's a long time to chisel away. And so and he's obviously a professional and talented, and so it's not surprising that it turned out really great. But he had never scored a game before. He never worked on. He literally was just creating a kind of task for himself to just write as much music as he could to kind of train himself on different styles, different aesthetics, different production techniques. And one of them just kind of got found online, and they reached out. And he also told me he was the second there was no studio yet. He was the second person.
So wild.
Wow.
And there's literally like the director finds him and goes, "I'm going to build a team. You're the first call I've made," basically, which blew my mind. He's a very just charming, delightful, sharp guy, and I hope he just conquers the world with this score, because not a lot of people just sort of come exploding out of the gate like that, and because remember, it's one of those where it took me about maybe 10 days to play it from when it first came out, and so immediately though, that 10 days was nonstop hearing about the game. Just instantly, it was like a light switch, and it was the only thing anyone had ever heard of or was talking about. And I kept seeing tweet after tweet and Facebook posts and everywhere else where they're sharing it and they're referencing the music, and it was the same like 2 or 3 bits of it every time.
Oh, okay.
And it creates this impression that it's kind of a one-trick pony, and you're like, oh, okay, so there's sort of this one thing everyone's really fixated on, but it's a fairly sizable game, and so either none of the rest of it is noteworthy, or it just beats this thing mercilessly. So then I start playing it, I'm like, my God, it just is this constant parade of new material, and it really goes a lot of places that I had no indication of from that. I mean, it's
Right,
far more electronic than I was anticipating, and it's just, I could go on and on forever about my love for it, but I really feel like he tapped into something special, and something else that he said that has really stuck with me in the podcast that we did together that I found very admirable is he became so in love with how detailed he was able to get, spending that many years working on, it was like 7+ hours of music. He said he wrote more than double that in terms of the process. It was like north of 14 hours, of which 7 made it in. And that's, I've done some pretty large bits of writing, but that's pretty gnarly, and especially as one's first game. Like, I don't think I could have handled that volume of work on my first game was Flow. Like
Right.
maybe an hour of music.
Shorty.
So it's very impressive in that regard. But he said something that has stuck with me, where he goes, because I was asking him kind of what is this revealed to you about yourself in terms of your future ambitions and goals and things like that. I don't remember how I asked him the question, but he said something like, "Look, if I only end up doing 4 or 5 games for the rest of my life, but I can be this level of detailed with them, then I'll be happy." Awesome. And I just thought, wow, that's a level of self-awareness that's rare, especially for someone who's like 25. It's pretty,
That's awesome.
Pretty nuts.
Any soundtracks out there from y'all?
The soundtrack to Clair Obscur is out of control. The other one that I would say is it's understated, but I really love the music in Blue Prince.
Heck yeah.
And also, it's funny because just thinking about the soundtrack and that put the theme song for Skyfall, the Bond movie. Because there's one song in Blue Prince that I don't know if it's in the same key and whatever. And so like anytime it would happen, I can't remember if it's the observatory room or which room triggers it, but I would always catch myself singing along with it, like a slowed down lounge version of Skyfall. Well,
I never found that room apparently.
After 100 hours of playing that game, you
start to lose your mind.
You get into you don't need to really use your cognitive thought as much, but anyway.
It's old, but shout out to, of course, Snake Eater.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's out now.
If that counts, that Snake Eater theme is like,
incredible.
And obviously like more soundtrack, just like music curation, but like Death Stranding has some
I was gonna ask.
I was gonna ask
Gabby. Death Stranding 2.
That's
She
Death
says
Stranding 2 is, very good. Like the Wood Kid stuff in it's like phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then everything they do with various versions of BB's theme.
Heck yeah.
And that's all I can say without spoiling shit. It's like insane.
And
I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Citizen Sleeper 2. I really like that soundtrack.
Oh, hell yeah.
Love it.
I only played the first one.
Oh, 2 came out this year?
Yeah. I haven't played it.
Oh, so good.
Oh.
So good.
I'll add it to the list. My very short, very achievable list.
Yeah, one of my favorite games this year, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Noted.
Well, at least now you can get to hurdling in an evening.
That's true. That's true.
Alrighty. By the way, before we get to this week's bets, Easy Allies patrons are getting 2 bonus Love and Respect questions, including our first M-rated games. I already know mine.
Ooh.
I got a great story about it. One of my favorite stories to tell, actually.
Nice.
So if you want to get in on that extended cut, consider becoming a $5 patron at patreon.com/easyallies, where you will get the ad-free version of this podcast 2 days early. You get into the official Discord, and you can submit questions to Love and Respect. So get in there, help us out. We need questions, we need support, we need you. And if you really want to help us out, you can join one of our producer tiers. Our platinum producers get a shout out on this podcast each and every week. This month's shout outs go to the legends, Jabawabs and El Thanis. Shout out! Now come on in for those bonus questions at patreon.com/easyallies. It's time for bets.
Where'd it go?
Oh, I think I put it in here.
In your
Nice. Before we get into it, Austin, you have to decide who you want your winning point to go to should you win the bet. You can just pick randomly, or I can give you the standings of who's in first place, who's in last.
Am I able to see something here to... How am I choose?
This is where it's at right now.
Let me see.
The spoilers for the chat, but yeah.
Oh boy. You're making me divide loyalties. And,
Yeah. Hard picks here.
Well, I don't know. I've got some history here, you know. So
Fair enough.
And you know what I love? He and I have run into each other just in the wild through
So
mutual friends we didn't even know were mutual friends.
That's
So
crazy.
I'm like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically
Yeah.
how I got introduced to you was through Kaylee, right?
Well, I assumed that the time I came down to Game Trailers was before that. I think it was one of the. I think that was one of those that it was like, hey, I know you, and like, what are you doing here, kind of a thing. I think. Am I remembering it wrong?
Maybe. I think I remember at some point talking to Kaylee, like before then, and finding out that she knew you.
We went to USC together. Fight on, bro.
Fight on, bro.
Yeah,
But it's all hazy.
It's all haze. Either way,
Yeah.
that's where my
Somehow,
that's
whenever
where I
that
have to
interview
choose.
happened.
Sorry,
Love it. Love it. Loyalty. I respect loyalty.
I gotta be loyal.
Yep. All right. This week's bet. It was going to be a Silk Song bet, but we are not doing that because they announced that there will be no early copies for anyone other than backers, which I think is such a cool move. So the day that thing comes out,
That means Silk Song is bad.
they're not giving out review copies. Oh no, it's horrible.
It means it's made by a handful of people who don't know any of the industry standard ways to do things.
No, I love it.
They didn't know what Jira was in the interview.
I love.
They're
after
lucky to not know what Jira is.
Exactly.
That's true.
I love after this long that the backers get that respect. That is sick. That is so sick. Silk Song comes out, Chronos comes out, and Hell Is Us. So what will the open critic score be for Hell Is Us? Very intrigued by this game.
Yeah.
Souls light looking type. Damiani.
Go 79.
79. Bloodworth. Oh, this is Austin. Actually, Austin on Bloodworth's behalf.
I put 82.
82.
2.
The Wicked Worm Bloodworth.
Oh, it's 77.
7.
Bunch of cynics.
Yeah, Whimsical Scum Island.
Fuck me, dude. I said 78.
78. Punish Castellanos Dawn.
He said 83.
Oh.
I almost put 82 as well, Austin.
Strange Valentine Gabby.
She said 82.
Oh, really?
Dude! I said 81. Damn it!
God, we really grouped him up.
We did group them up. This is going to be close.
Wow.
We have a
You seem to have a
77.
general consensus, though, on the the target range.
Right there.
77 is apparently the average on fantasycritic.games or whatever.
Oh, for like all games?
Yeah, that's what the creator told us once.
We have
And I think that means that we're not giving out the scores correctly.
Yeah.
If the average is 77.
Right.
That's not how math is supposed to work.
So really it means we're hopeful.
Yeah, right.
We have a 77, a 78, 79, no 80, 81, 82, 83. That's very funny. Wait, watch you get an 80. Like only
Right.
one.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I definitely hope it does well.
Same.
But
I'm really rooting for this game. I'm so hyped
when
for
you're
it.
doing meta scores, it's always lower than. So there's some weirdo out there. It's like, I'm going to give this a 3.
Yeah. 4 10. Last week's bet. We didn't have a bet last week, but before Gamescom, we asked how many people would be watching Gears of War Reloaded on Twitch when we recorded this episode.
Do you want me to refresh this?
Well, now that I see who won, maybe not. Damiani said 21,000. Bloodworth said 15,000. Isla said 12,000. Don said 8.6 thousand. Gabby said 10,000. I, for some reason, said 6,145. What was I on that day? The heck? The answer before, or do you want to do it now, Blood? Should I just read this one?
I'm gonna.
Okay.
I don't know. We need a. Maybe you should ask. Do we want to go with what we said at 4:30, or do you want to do it right now?
I forget what we usually do.
Because it will make a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
It will make a difference?
It will absolutely make a difference.
Well, what is it? Do both and then I'll pick.
Really?
He's the only one of us that doesn't have a horse in this race.
Sure, that's fair.
Yeah, but I want to win.
Well, I mean, you're asking me to be your
Yeah, should
your
it have
mediator
counted
here?
when
the episode
said things-
started or live right this second?
Yeah.
Go with right now.
Right now?
I suspect
Right
that
now it's 16.5
Wow.
thousand.
Why did it like quadruple?
who was closest to that?
I would have won 2 hours ago, but now I lose.
You were close.
Now it's me.
Yeah, you were.
Damn it! Go with before. Blood cheated.
I know I didn't.
It's all because RDC Gaming started, whoever that is. They got 10K.
No, I feel like this is what we usually do. Anyway, we do it right
We
this
do
second.
usually refresh
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Bringing the totals
Andrew
to...
got his point. Yeah, the fix is in, dude.
Yep.
Next time I'm picking the guest.
Yeah. So, first place is Punish Castellanos done with 10.
He's not in here. What is
Dispatch.
he saying? Dispatch.
Dispatch.
And
Whatever.
right behind that, the Wicked Worm, Bloodworth with 7. Close. You're getting closer, Bloodworth. You still got a couple months to catch Don.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. And then everyone else is 5, 4, 3, 2. So, boom. Alrighty, we've got a lot more previews since last week's Gamescom blowout. So be sure to go and check all of that good stuff. We've got Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, Scott Pilgrim EX, Kill the Shadow, Deer and Boy, and the Lonesome Guild. Plus, we still have a few more coming as well.
I saw a comment, and only you would probably be able to answer this question because you were in the sessions. Mm-hmm. They wanted to know, is it pronounced Scott Pilgrim EX, or is it pronounced Scott Pilgrim X because you're fighting the X's?
Yeah, one person said EX. That was the only thing I remember.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was one of the people that check you into the area, so it wasn't an official dev. So they were like, "Oh, you're here to see Scott Pilgrim EX."
So we don't know.
So
Yeah, I was
we don't
going to
know.
say 50-50 on
Yeah,
that.
so it's 50-50. Yeah.
Chat says Scott Pilgrim Cross.
Bloodworth will be at PAX tomorrow, so if you see him wandering around, ambush him. Say hello.
Yeah. Friday is...
He's easy to spot.
My Friday schedule is stupid.
Yeah.
Saturday afternoon and Sunday I'm pretty open though. So.
Blood's going to be checking out Kirby Air Riders and some other Bandai Namco games.
Well,
and
no. Well, actually, that is funny. Bandai Namco is the developer of Air Riders. You misread that, but it's actually correct.
There it is. Sick. That's
You know what I just read the other day? Do you guys know where the character name of Kirby comes from?
It's the lawyer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
That
never
won the Donkey Kong case.
Yes, that I had never known that story, and was just reading this, history of Nintendo, and that's like this little afterthought in there that I was like, that is an amazing way to be sort of immortalized forever.
Yeah.
Some lawyer who doesn't give a shit about games is like, that's me.
Kirby.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I just thought it was the comic book
Yeah, it's
artist.
John Kirby. was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's Donkey Kong, Nintendo versus Universal.
Right, yeah.
And it essentially came down to Universal had previously argued that there wasn't a copyright or something. It was crazy. When I looked that up, it was crazy.
It seemed like a thin case in hindsight.
Yeah.
It was one of those where when
they
you
were
read
trying
it,
to have it both ways.
Yeah,
Whichever one favored them in whichever case.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And now apparently Universal might be making a Donkey Kong movie. So
Yeah. Well, they have a Donkey Kong at
circle,
Universal
yeah.
Studios. Yeah, all that.
Easy Chillin' is coming September 9th and 10th, everybody. So we're still putting the list together, but you can definitely expect me to destroy the allies in Mario Party. So
Yeah.
look forward to that.
With the camera add-on.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
But I've actually lost 2 in a row now.
If you have
remember.
stuff you want to see, like
I've lost 2 in a row.
group stream in the same room games, put them in the comments for sure.
Yes.
'Cause
Also,
we forget things all the time. They're like, that would be perfect for this, and then we completely forget it when it's time to schedule.
I am debating. We have something that can play PS2 games, right?
Yeah, I can bring in a PS3 that plays PS2
I'm
games.
debating. Chat, let me know if you want to see like a horror block. I'm debating trying to buy Kuan.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
And playing it because I want to play it.
And Haunting Grounds.
I also would love to play Haunting
like
Ground.
$300 or
Yeah,
something.
if anyone has a line on those, I'll pay $200. I'm not paying $800.
Yeah.
I just
for
noticed the
Kuan.
control room PC is now 5 minutes behind.
Dude, Haunting Grounds, $500.
Haunting Grounds is $500.
$350
Holy crap.
on eBay. I see
Good lord.
$600, $700. Yeah,
Oh, we
that's
should play Obscure too.
insane. Here's one for $100. I don't know if that's
Haunting
just the
Ground?
box, and it looks like maybe a Japanese version. I'm not sure.
Yeah, those are Japanese. versions.
Hundreds
I mean,
and hundreds.
I was looking into it, and a lot of people were saying if you get a PAL PS2 and get the PAL version, it's way cheaper.
crazy.
We could just emulate it, but Blood doesn't like that, and it's also not exactly legal.
Yeah.
But it's from
Well,
software.
the emulating is legal. The thing that you're putting into the emulator is not legal.
The ROM.
Oh yeah. If you can show that you own it, right? Anyway.
Austin, where can people find you, and what would you like them to check out?
Well, I'm online everywhere. I'm usually Wintory on the things, except Instagram, where someone took that and never, it's just blank, but I couldn't get it.
Dang it.
So I'm Wintory on Instagram, which annoys my OCD-ness to no end.
Yeah.
I guess they should, if folks want to try out Sword of the Sea, take
Do
your
it.
word for it,
Yes.
basically. They don't need my word for it. I'm mildly biased. Although it's a weird thing. It goes both directions. Like, I kind of actively, I'd rather talk about Lorian's music in Expedition 33, but I'm really thrilled for Giant Squid for what they did as a game development. So I feel this because I don't really want to sit there and say, play it for the sake of my music, but play it for the sake of their work, for sure. So yeah, that would be my instinct.
That's great. And since you're our guest this week, you get to shout out to anything or anyone that's on your mind. You get the final word, and you get to sign off with your trademark sign-off if you have one. So anything that's on your mind, final word, trademark sign-off.
My final word. I can wrap 2 of those at least into. Every now and again, I go down a rabbit hole of rewatching Carl Sagan interviews, and I was watching one of those again recently, and pretty much anything you can find of him talking, especially if he's talking about our relationship to technology and the way that the more we seed understanding how it works to to people, the less we understand about how everything works around us, the more we're basically allowing other people to control everything about our lives.
Wow.
He saw so much coming with so little precursor to base that on, but just understanding the arc of technology and human behavior and how those kind of map onto each other. It's sort of equal parts inspiring, a little bit upsetting, but ultimately he's more inspiring than anything else. So it's just, go consume anything, read his books, Demon Haunted Worlds, or watch the original Cosmos or the new Cosmos. Contact, on and on.
Contact.
His interviews, he had interviews with like Charlie Rose and others that repeatedly, kind of go viral. So yes, Carl Sagan. Can't ever have too much Carl Sagan in our lives. He's someone I really wish he were alive today, weighing in a very sober way on all the things that get everyone all freaked out all the time. Because he just makes everything feel better. Yeah. I wish I had a trademark sign-off. I just say thank you for letting me be here, and it's a pleasure and a privilege.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm a giant platforming challenge environment.
The Easy Allies would like to thank our Patreon podcast producers. We apologize in advance for all the ally names we are about to misspell and mispronounce. Jabawabs, L. Thanis, Alexander Zirianov, Jay Shee, Jesper Popmel Dufay, 44 Stars, Andreas Risberg, Andri, Brandon White, Brian Kruger, Daniel Martinek, Douglas Chomich, Faraz Rizvi, Garrett Holfish, G. Levin, Gustav Strombaum, Hayden Hargraves, Jesse Blue, Luis Ibarra, M. Miguel Rivas, Mo Grant, Paul Sway, Ronka Q, Sam Handrick, Stomps, Stepan Hakobian, The Banana Forklift Killer, Tito Jopes, Chum Nguyen, Zigazich, Anish Dor, Aaron Haney, Alex Monaco, Anacroth, Anthony F., Anthrioni, A Red Knight, Arthur Lau, Asbo Zapruder, Barry Tomasini, Brian Foster, Bunny Chen, C.S. Lewis, Katie Garza, Chief Uhu, Chris Eccles, Christopher Santis, Clay Roberts, Colin Montoot, Connell Sumlin, Corey Jackson, Corey Landega, Crumb Eyes, Cyberboa, Dan Sebring, Daniel Kozlowski, Daniel Wong, David Aniki, Enya Hink, Eric Tobias, Forever Ender, Forrest, Gabriel Smith, Jen Woofles, Gino A. Leet, Harrison Holt, I-Sun Chor, Ian Anderson, Gerald, Jesse Wilkeson, John McCullough, John Prey, Junya Motomura, Kai J., Carl Williams, Keegan Boyle, Kevin Gillet, Kroldemort, Kruva, Leon Keys, Lying Crown 19, Marco Hernandez, Materia Addict, Matthias Clare, Max Miller, Miguel, Nefertiti Jenkins, Nycrypt, Nikhil Sharma, Ninja Kitty Meow, Ono Turtle, Oru Gachino, Pablo Rodriguez, Patrick Held, Pixelated, Ray Aldiar, Reed Johnson, Richard Ma, Ritz 1906, Robert Seven Lee, Robin, Ryan Rutger, Sage Mode Q, Salvers, Samuel Copeland, SD Prima, Sebastian T, Servino, Sean Johnstone, Cito, Strikeout NZ, Tadashi 047, Tim Strothman, Tomovi Kioni, Tony Tarantino, Travis Eng, TZP2 Game Night, Wouter DeHaze, Yami Zetsume.